Is that? Nah, I think you guys are just making stuff up.
Psst. It's a thing.
Sure.
They can't even hear you when you whisper.
Oh.
Like, when you whisper, it's like...
Like a whisper.
It's like a whisper.
Huh. Weird.
But they can't hear you. What's going on, everybody? Hello? Anybody here? Hello? Is this thing on?
Hello.
Hello? Hello?
Bueller.
Hello? All right. So let's catch up to where we're supposed to be here. Blah, blah, blah. What's going on, Drek? See all the love I show? I pre-highlighted your minis for you.
Look at you.
Got them all set up.
They're so cute.
Baby Deco, what's going on? Welcome back. We're just getting going. We're going to figure out what we're going to do. Well, we already know what we're going to do tonight. I'm painting these. She's painting those. I'm doing Ripley and her loader. The Chibi loader. And the Alien Queen. Grr. Grr.
It's fun, isn't it? See, you like doing that too.
So how are you going to start?
I don't know which way to go.
You don't know which way to go.
I can't figure this thing out.
It's
I don't
looking
know
at it
which way
exactly the
to-
same way you are.
Yeah, but when I was moving, it like went too far away. So I was trying to find
Oh yeah, because you're
just
zoomed in
the
pretty
right
far.
spot.
You're pretty zoomed in.
There we go.
See, 25
There
freaking
she
months.
is.
Not a chance. You remember 25 months ago when I was just a commission painter and he promised Jenny he'd give her a tattoo. Nothing true about
right?
that. There's nothing true about that. And I've never
Still
been
waiting.
I've never been a commission painter. I just happen to take some commissions. Don't get it twisted. Your wife's jealous of what? Of the minis? Look at how great those things are.
October, we think, right? Isn't that when they said that they'll
I
be
think
available?
so. Yeah,
October.
he updated me today saying that the alien ones aren't available yet. The alien ones are available, and the Princess Bride ones are not yet available. You can get a couple of them as part of a Kickstarter that's just now ending. But yeah, I think he said earlier like October or something. Impact will be here
next
so
week.
hopefully it'll be all right. He can answer more of the questions that we don't know because I don't know. I don't know that stuff. I don't know that stuff. Hashtag can't keep a good... Hey, wait. We got to stop because you can't put punctuation in hashtags. So your hashtag is technically hashtag can.
Hashtag can. That's it.
That's all I see. That's all I see, LT. Learn. Get with the hipster program. Get with the 21st century, brother. Can't punctuate your hashtags. That's breaking the rules. Got my headband on.
Ready
Got
to sweat.
my awesome ready to get down and dirty.
Ready.
Some hobby exercise.
Yeah.
Hobby size. Is that what we're doing? Hobby size.
so.
Like jazzercise, but it's hobby size.
I think it's like jazzercise. Yes.
Dude, we definitely need like jazzercise music.
I need leg
like
warmers.
disco.
Where are my leg warmers?
And leg warmers.
And my high top like Reeboks.
We need
LA
disco
gear.
music. Disco music. So you'd be like, ooh, 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 like that.
I don't know if that's what they jazzercise too.
No?
I think it's more like, wake me up before you go. I think that's what they use for jazzercise.
That's horrible.
I know.
We should do something different.
No, but it's jazzercise.
Yeah, but hobby size has to be
Jazzercise
better.
is horrible.
It has to be better than that. Hashtag
More punctuation.
I refuse to take hipster lessons from nope, and then it ends. It ends. It just ends. I can't even see letters beyond the point where it ends. I don't get it. You don't know how to do this properly. All right, so I'm gonna start painting. I don't care. You guys aren't the boss of me.
And I guess I am too.
I'm painting, man. I'm doing my own thing. I'm doing which color's darker? Chipping color is darker. I'm doing chipping color from AK. going to paint some rust. Base coat. We might do some chipping, some actual chipping solution on this booger. Because it needs to be like caterpillar yellow. Cat yellow.
I think I'm going to start with their skin. Is that a good idea or a bad idea?
Sure, go for it.
Okay, what color should I use?
Depends. Were they pale? She's kind of pale.
Palish. They're both like light hair. I mean, she's got blonde hair and he's kind of got brownish blonde hair. Yeah.
Then yeah, you could start with a good trio of skin tones with like tan, barbarian, elf flesh, something like that.
All right, I have barbarian.
Works pretty well. Tan is probably over here someplace. Tanned flesh is right there.
Barbarian flesh. So tanned flesh first.
Tanned.
Barbarian flesh, and then what?
Elf flesh, elfic flesh, elven flesh.
I have elf skin tone.
There's elf flesh.
They're different?
I don't know. Different companies.
Okay.
Sort of, kind of, maybe. Write them down. Remember them.
Pen.
Commit them to memory.
I think I have paper.
Where is my... don't know where any of the tools are. Don't know where any of the proper tools for tonight are. I gotta get my airbrush clean. I just used the dang thing, and now I pick it up and it doesn't want to spray. That's kind of the way of my life right now. Unpacking minis today. Knock over the flowers. Fortunately, the box of miniatures I got was distressing because the person that sent them to me didn't pack them very well, so everything was exploded. All the miniatures were kind of like blown into a bajillion pieces. Not bueno. So I was a little frustrated. And then the box lid flipped open and knocked over Jen's flowers that she got for girls' night.
Didn't ruin them. They're okay.
No, the flowers are fine.
Shakalagor Bloodbeard said, got y'all up in store.
What's up? What's happening, everybody? Dice Head Games and Comics in the house. What's going on, peoples? Pipples? We're painting some chibis.
I think I'm elf racist.
You're what?
I'm elf racist.
Elf racist? Mm-hmm. Elfist?
Because
elf
I don't
bigoted?
know the difference between elf flesh and elf skin tone.
Why is that being racist?
I don't know. BB Deco said, I feel if you don't know the difference between elf flesh and elf skin tone, you might be racist toward elves.
We hate those people.
Those elves.
Pointy-eared bastages. Hashtag in the pointy-eared bastages. Somebody in here is going to have pointy ears and be really offended. So I'm doing Ripley in the loader suit thing.
I like her hair.
The loader exosuit. So I got the loader and the exosuit, and if I can stage these right, because she's on a cork, but she goes in the suit like that, and then the cage goes over it. So she's in the loader cage, but I can't paint them all together because that'd be a nightmare. And then she's going to be fighting the alien queen. That's a thing. All these miniatures are from impactminiatures.com. Amazing chibi miniatures. Great fun. And great friends of the show sent us these. And so Jen's going to be painting the Princess Bride ones. She's got Buttercup and Westley.
Westley.
I learned he actually has a name. Westley. I pre-highlighted yours a lot nicer than I pre-highlighted mine. I don't understand why I did that. Jeez. Why am I so nice to you?
I don't know. Because I'm nice to you.
You are pretty nice to me, I'm
Flesh
not
is the
going to
inside
lie.
color, elf skin tone is the outside color. I can't get this open.
Which one? Tan flesh? Neither can I. Neither can I. That's not good.
Thanks.
There
So
we go.
strong. It's that sweatband you got on.
Hey, yeah, so we're
gives
running
you
a
some
marathon
strength.
tomorrow, and I'm prepping.
Who's ready?
I'm prepping. I'm mentally preparing for the marathon I got to run tomorrow. So I've already got, this is a headband I'm actually wearing. I actually have matching wristbands that I didn't put on for the show. I didn't want to get paint all over them. But I have wristbands, and I have an amazing pair of running shorts and a great
Oh, the
t-shirt
shirt's the best. And a fanny pack.
and a fanny pack with watermelons on it, I'm going to be the best dressed marathoner you've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
There will be photos.
Oh, whoops. I just...
If you're completely
start
unlucky and you
All
follow
right.
us, there might actually even be video.
Here's something that I did. I just went to start painting, and I put my brush in the water cup, but it still had the plastic thing on top of it.
That's a thing. That's a thing you do.
So
That's a thing you do.
there's that.
Oh boy, we're off to a flying start today. Drag, gotta get your badge back. Thank you, my friend. Elf flesh is the inside color. Elf skin tone is the outside color. You're getting it, LT. I actually could read those. All right, here we go. This is gonna be the overall base coat is this rusty brown for everything. Right over everything. Except maybe the seat.
Can you move up? Yeah, that works.
I'm going to be doing some chipping fluid on this thing. And as we run through that process, I want to just do the whole model in rust colors first. Because I don't have an idea of where I'm going to be doing the chipping. I don't like to plan that far ahead. So instead of planning, you just paint the whole damn model. Makes life easy. So we're just going to base coat everything. I don't know about that seat thing. But the gist here is that you're painting the color that you want to show through any of the chipping that you do. And it may seem like, oh my God, you're going to paint the whole model and then paint the whole model again. And the answer is yes. As a matter of fact, that's how it works. I find that for my elderly brain is a lot easier than trying to distinguish where exactly I want to do chipping on the thing right now. And then trying to remember after I paint the rest of the colors on it where I put the chipping stuff. That never works. That always leaves me a little exasperated. So just a real thin, this is that chipping color is actually what it's called from AK. But it's one of the rust line. So it comes in with like shadow and old rust and, orange rust and medium rust and bright rust or whatever, light rust. There's a 6-color set from AK that we carry over in the store that is a bunch of really good colors when you want to be doing rust effects. And the chipping just happens to be one of them. One of the darker ones. It's actually, I think, a little bit, like maybe a shade darker than the shadow rust, actually. But I'll go ahead and build up color over the top of this as we go. Get some yellows or oranges and reds in. The lifter itself, or the loader itself, I think was yellow. Somebody want to confirm? I think it was. It's what we're painting it, so it doesn't really matter. And I don't have to get exact coverage. There can still be a little bit of the black and gray from the pre-highlight left because obviously we're going to paint the whole assembly in the caterpillar yellow. So all we want to make sure of is that if we, on all of the larger surfaces and edges where we are going to go through and actually do the chipping solution, that we can get a good rust color showing up from underneath whenever we get done. We don't want to chip and inadvertently have a spot that we missed that is just, gray or something. That wouldn't look right. Look kind of funky. There you go. Look, brown loader. Ta-da. Ta-da! I'm not gonna do the thing with the thing, am I? Yeah, I probably ought to do, like, these. This whole cage, probably, now that I think about it. I would think that these bars would suffer the same kind of beat up look.
She's even wearing earrings.
What's that?
She's wearing earrings.
She is?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. She also has
cool.
cute little eyebrows or eyelashes and stuff, too.
Yeah, she does have eyelashes.
I was like, what is this on
That's
the... Oh.
cool.
Ripley's got some crazy eyelashes and eyebrows, too. Over here. Their Chibi models are really cool.
Yeah.
Again, these are from Impact Miniatures. Go to impactminiatures.com. Their store. And the alien ones are up on the site. I think most of them are. The ones that Jen's painting are not available yet. They'll be later this year. They are still available as like late backer stuff for the latest Kickstarter that they're having. Hopefully Impact will be in here and you can post links to that as we go on to through the night. I think on her, I'm going to go ahead and on Ripley as well, get these armatures that go out to the actual loader suit, the thing where she was having to control it by. We'll go ahead and do a little rust on those too. I don't know that we'll need a whole lot here, but go ahead and make it the same. Go. Now we'll switch out and do a little bit brighter rust color on there. Oh, no, I forget it.
What did you forget?
Oh, listen, hey, it's the door. I gotta go.
Did you forget water? Do you need mine? I'll just use mine. You're not very sneaky.
What's going on, everybody?
I've got two kinds of wet in my pants.
Right in time. Right in time. What's going on, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're coming over from Kenny's, welcome, everybody. Not too much stuff. I just organized this, and all it did was give me more space to put more stuff, and now it's disorganized again. Howdy! Lucky Deuce, you glad you're back down from watching Kenny's stream? What's going on? Welcome over. I am running a marathon. Tomorrow, Jen and I are running a marathon. Miss J. Croft, what's going on? Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome, welcome. The Valkyries have landed. Bill Neary, what's happening? Christopher, welcome back. What's going on, everybody? Kenny, what's going on? How'd the show finish up? Lots of fun over on Kenny's today. You guys and your orc names. I feel like they let you down today, Kenny. I feel like there could have been a better name for that guy. We'll go out on a limb. Say that chat was missing a pulse today. Could have been a better name.
What's the name?
I'm gonna do Dark Rust now. Yeah, Dark Rust. What's going on, everybody? I'm Jason, aka Slow Fuse. That's Jen, the good-looking one.
Jen.
AKA Jen. Also known as Jen.
Jen.
Jen, I really like your hair as I'm looking at it in the thing. She darkened her hair up, if everybody can't notice, so you ought to be able to notice her. She darkened her hair.
A little darker.
But we're running a marathon tomorrow.
Pink.
FX Trev, what's going on? So I've already got my headband
with
on.
no
I'm
name.
getting psyched up for the marathon running tomorrow, so it's going to be a thing. We're looking forward to it.
I've been through the desert on an orc with no name.
On an orc, that see? Now see that? But he wasn't riding like a horse though.
Pollute my britches with delight.
Neil Gradamus, what's going on? Thank you so much. Did I see the roof for your grain mill? You finally finished this? No. Where would I have seen this? Meg Pates Minis, 4 freaking months. Thank you for all the continued support. Meg, how you doing?
And thank you for bits. Bits from...
Dollar.
All the biddies.
Where are the bits?
Horse Rank, what's going on?
Oh,
Thank you for the
Horse Rank.
bits.
There it is. I'm like, where are they? I can't
like,
see
wait a
them.
second.
I saw them, but I can't see them.
It just happened. Yours was the best. I'm a lying liar who I'm a lying liar who lies? No. No, Bill Neri, I feel like that's not correct.
I mean, sometimes it is.
Hey.
What?
Hey. You
I
over
don't
there.
know.
The peanut gallery.
What?
What? Huh?
Huh?
What? Oh. We're painting chibis tonight. Jen is lining up with Buttercup and Wesley from The Princess Bride. I am doing the loader. This is the loader mech suit thing with Ripley, who sits in it. And there's a cage that goes over. So it's the loader and Ripley and the Queen Alien. Arr. Grr.
I started that. I'm glad that you've picked it up, though.
Why don't you donate $5 to the cause and maybe...
Thank you,
Rob, what's going on?
Ava.
I feel like you didn't start that. I feel like we did that a long time ago.
I don't know.
You just started playing like Dollhouse with yours, though. So.
That's what you were just doing.
That's not Dollhouse. I was scaring the
$5
viewers.
donation.
There's
That's
a big
what I
difference.
was
I wasn't
doing with
asking
my
it if it wanted to drink tea.
A
I
shout-out
didn't
to
do
the
that
best
either.
You
team
did. You were doing
Oh.
like kissy faces with your dragon. And
At Team Gen Tastic for Eva. Number Grease 2 is the best movie Eva.
whatever.
Eva.
Number Monument Gaming Rules.
Whatever. Rules. She's really got a hard time with the whole English thing.
Doesn't
Telling
even
you.
like
Windows lady.
Doesn't
Not
like
really. Not
slang.
really great with the whole phonetics. Need to send her to, what is that? Hooked on Phonics? Need to
Probably,
get
yeah.
Windows lady a Hooked on Phonics book. Books on tape. Remember those? Books on tape. Then it was books on CD. Now it's just books on. Just turn your computer on and freaking listen to books.
There's the book.
I'm glad that things aren't on tape anymore. Tapes were a hassle. If you left them in your car, they melted.
Yeah. Terrible.
Kids out there are like, what are you
They
talking
get all
about,
tangled
Granddad?
up. It'd come
Alright.
all
Ooh,
unwound.
that's a good color.
You need
I
a
like
pencil.
that.
You have to put a pencil in there to crank it back together.
So I'm going through and doing this with a good undercoat of rust. 6 freaking months, Rob. What is going on, my friend? Other than lying about favorite movies and stuff like that. Nobody's favorite movie is actually that movie that you guys talk about. That's just not a thing.
Did anyone
Why
say
don't you
it's a favorite
donate
movie?
$5 to the
This is
cause
the best
and maybe
movie
it'll
ever.
make you feel better.
Mensa Nurse. What?
Mensa Nurse.
Mensa Nurse. What?
Uh-oh, I guess I gotta get busy.
Okay, so again, Mensa Nurse, hoping I get swimmer's ear. Great, thanks. That's like 80 million wet willies that she has to give me now.
To run his marathon if he has swimmer's ear.
Yeah, I have to run a marathon tomorrow. See this headband? This is not a joke. This is not for show. I'm already getting prepped. I got to run a marathon tomorrow.
$100 donation
I don't want to
received
die,
from Mensa
so I'm
Nurse.
getting prepped. Mentally,
You know,
physically,
if
I'm
it
getting
didn't have
prepped.
to be new subs.
I can't
This
go
would
and
be
do
a
it.
lot less one-sided.
So it didn't have to be new subs. It'd be a lot less one-sided.
Oh, you guys.
I'm fine with it being one-sided.
You guys. Thank you, Mensa. How the hell are you? Mucho apreciado. So, like I was saying, I am going through and doing this Chibi loader with Ripley in it from Aliens, if you remember Aliens. If you don't remember Aliens, stop watching us right now and just go watch Aliens. We won't be mad. And Impact Miniatures at impactminiatures.com. Great friends of the show. When somebody on the show mentioned that they had these, or he mentioned that he had them, I don't remember how it all came together, but we were like, we need those.
Yeah.
And they just showed up. So Jen is painting some Princess Bride. Got some awesome alien stuff here. All sorts of good stuff. And right now what I'm doing is I'm doing the rust undercoat. So I'm going to be doing some chipping on this model. And in order to make that as cool as possible, I'm just going through right now and giving standard kind of highlights and shade to the rust coat. I'm not going to see much of this through it, so I don't have to spend a ton of time, but I'm an idiot, so I do anyway. But the idea is that we paint the whole thing rust so that when we paint it yellow and come back and start knocking some of the yellow off, that this is the color that resides underneath and gives us a kind of a cool variance in all of our rust colors. So I paint it like as if the model were actually this rust color. Like, oh, well, that seems like a lot of work. Oh, why did I just do that? Really? Did I just do that? I did just do that. I need to see if I can eke a little bit of this out of here. I think I got enough. I was able to save just enough. I already started cleaning the airbrush out, but I immediately dumped the water out, and sometimes you get just enough left of the paint in the nozzle that I think I can do this.
Did you miss a spot?
Oh, I forgot to do the cage. I forgot that I had decided I wanted to do some color on the cage. So there you go. The whatchamacallit. The protective cage. Although the cage doesn't look like it would protect her much. Just saying. We've all seen the movie. We know how it ends. It's okay. It's okay. Whatever happened to hashtag what happened to Newt?
We all know, though, right, that I have not seen the movie.
I was waiting for it. So Jen doesn't know anything we're talking about.
Just make sure that we're clear on that.
Jen has seen like 3 movies in her whole life.
Grease 2.
One of them is Grease 2, Grease 2, and is laid awake wishing at night for Grease 3.
Yes.
Camo, if you don't want to die, don't run a marathon. It didn't work out well for the first guy to run it. Yeah, right? But we're doing it tomorrow. So Jen said, hey, you want to go run a marathon? And I said, sure, babe. I'll go run a marathon with you. I
said, are you going to be there?
I said, are you going to be there? And she said, yeah. So she's going to run it and I'm going to run it. We're running tomorrow. That's why I have the headband. You'll see lots of pictures if you follow us on social media, whether you like it or not. It might even be video of me dying, but it'll be fun. Either way.
Fun stuffs.
Either way. Trousers are in danger of combustion? Say what? What?
I think that's a Pants on Fire reference.
I don't admit anything's a movie, Rob. That's not a thing. Are we going to carb up? What's that?
Yes.
I don't know fitness terminology.
You got to carb up before you run a marathon.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay, well then yes. Because I'm going to do all the things that you're supposed to do to have a successful marathon running.
Including the
marathon.
The headband.
Yeah, well, I started with the
First
good stuff.
step.
I started with the serious business part.
First step, headband.
Which is the headband. You can't run a marathon without the headband and the cool hair. See? Got the hair all pushed back. I'm serious. I'm serious. You can't focus on the goal in a marathon if you got sweat in your eyes.
It's true.
So I'm not going to have sweat in my eyes because I have a sweatband that
it catches it.
Keeps it out of your eyes.
Catch all your sweat.
Yeah, that's what they do. Mince Nurse says don't die. Beer has carbs. That's what we're doing. We're beer loading.
We're beering up.
We're beering up for the freaking the running of the things. All right, so that was dark rust, and now this is light rust. It's funny how that works. So I've done chipping color, dark rust, and now light rust. And I'm just going to kind of spot this around a little bit. I'm not going to run this as thin as I normally do.
Bill Neri is telling people that it's a short marathon for lazy people.
Hey, Bill Neri, you don't know what you're talking about.
He probably does because he was here last week.
He was probably here. He was probably here when we talked about it the first time. He probably does know exactly what he's talking about. Wait a minute. He's a lying liar who lies. He doesn't. He's just trying to make himself feel better to make us feel bad.
Don't anybody tell Jason about the runner's poops. It's a thing.
That's a thing?
I guess.
Really?
Oh.
Super poops? I'm just going to kind of spot this rough
dollar bills, y'all.
in some
Thank you
areas.
for the bits, Kilty.
Kilty O'Neill, what is going on? I'm not looking to get much highlight coloring here. I just want to load up with some of this yellow rust color.
Band-Aids on your nipples. Gotta do that too.
In various areas here.
Prevent chafing.
What's that?
You gotta put Band-Aids on your nipples.
I do?
Yeah.
Why?
To prevent chafing
Chafing from what?
from your shirt.
I don't wear a shirt when I run. What kind of fools we got out there? Trying to get a tan. Trying to show the world this amazing freaking masculinity I got running here. I do have a bitchin' shirt though, so.
It's a really good shirt.
Okay. There, I've just gone through and spotted that yellow around just kind of randomly. Doesn't matter. Because remember, what's really going to wind up happening here is that only a little bit of this is going to show through all of the chipping that we're going to do. So bingo, we'll let that dry. I think that's probably pretty good. Ah. I think I'm going to take a little bit of the darkest, the shadow rust here real quick. Is that darker? Can't tell if the shadow rust is as dark as the dark rust. Kind of reddish, so that's cool. A little bit of that in there. Again, I'm using all of the AK Interactive rusts that come out of the Rust set.
A zebra Speedo in a cape. That would have been good. Not the look he's going for, though.
A what?
A zebra Speedo and a cape.
Ooh.
That would have been good.
Yeah, trust me, I thought about like the watermelon banana hammock look thing, but I got the watermelon fanny pack instead. So I'm wearing a bright yellow fanny pack that has lots of watermelons on it. I've got the bright yellow headband that has the matching wristbands. And I've got bright, like, emergency orange running shorts. Mm-hmm. And I've got a green T-shirt that says I'm all about fitness. And it says fitness taco in my mouth. It has a taco. Mm-hmm. And Mensa, you out of here? Take it easy. Thank you so much. Are you serious? You just came in to run? What?
Thank you, Mensa Nurse.
And then
I'll get those Wet Willies. I promise.
He leaves. We got to do one while he's there.
Okay.
I mean, it's just, I'm not gonna be able to run tomorrow though. Swimmer's ear is a thing. It's real. It's oh, oh, and the only napkin I have is wet. That doesn't help. Oh. I need a protective shield. So now I have my Wet Willy shield in. So yeah. So I got emergency orange shorts, running shorts. I got a green shirt that says I'm all about fitness taco in my mouth, and then I got mantyhose.
Of course.
I've got compression socks that come up to my anus. They're black.
Pretty much.
And then I have my black Adidas, my black and white Adidas. So
which are excellent running shoes.
yeah. They're the best running shoes I hear for marathons is flat-soled Adidas with no arch support. So I have flat-soled Adidas with no arch support, but my compression socks that come up to my bunghole, my orange running shorts, my bright green T-shirt, fitness taco, my yellow headband, and then my bright yellow like neon glow fanny pack with neon glow reddish orange watermelons on it. And in there, I'm gonna keep all of my good running things. That, you know, like the keep the sun out of your eyes, dark stuff, the sun tan oil, the sunburn, the aloe vera.
Oh, aloe vera. I thought you meant like tanning oil.
I'm bringing all of it.
All of it.
I'm bringing a lot of tanning oil first, and then sunscreen second, and then aloe for at the end of the day.
It is the outfit so EMS can easily identify.
So it is true, though. All of this is true. I'm not lying about any of it.
She's not.
She's got, where's my phone? I even have a picture of the whole outfit.
Yeah, here, I have mine right here.
Do you? I sent her a text when all of the outfit
share.
pieces came in, when I received them, so that I could show her exactly what she's going to be running this marathon with. She had to be let know. There. See, that's my get up. That'll be me tomorrow. Fit me in that stuff.
Those two yellow things, those are not Post-its. Those are wristbands.
Those are my wristbands.
They look like Post-it notes.
That's this headband though. It's right here in living color, and that's my fanny pack.
I'm in a
Fitness taco in my mouth.
This doesn't give quite the orange though. You're not quite getting the.
Oh, they
the
get it.
realness
I think
of the orange.
I think they get it. I actually somehow matched the watermelon orange to the short orange.
It's spectacular. It really
I have that
is.
kind of color theory going on in my head all the time.
Yeah.
I got it. It's good. It's good. I guess I'm bringing Band-Aids for my nipples. Somebody
Yes.
says that's the thing.
Oh, scissors. We need to take a pair of scissors.
Enigma says he needs one of every Vallejo color you carry. What's that going to cost you? $1 million.
80 millions.
I'll even lick every bottle for you. Zebra Speedo and a cape was a better idea, though. I
like
didn't
the
think
zebra
of
suits. Next year. They're doing it again in January. We can do it again.
that. Drac. Running with scissors. What? Vaseline on your nipples if you're wearing that shirt. Oh, okay. All right. So Vaseline and then Band-Aids for later. And then I've got smelling salts.
In case you pass out.
In case I pass out, I can wake up again. I didn't think that through, though, because if I'm passed out, I can't smelling salt myself.
It's true.
Maybe I just put the smelling salts under my nose just
It's
from
like
the get-go, so
like
I can't pass out. I feel like
you know,
that's how the way that works.
yeah.
If you just tape them under your nose, then you just
they're
don't
just
pass
there,
out.
yeah.
You just be like the whole time. I got a plan.
That's how it works.
I got a plan.
Yeah, it's a good plan.
I got a plan. Oh, this is going to end in tragedy. It's going to end in tragedy. You people aren't ready. You just think you're ready. You're not ready. Put these away so I don't knock them over. And we're going to do the thing with the thing. Is there any more in here? Oh, there is still. Again, I'm just spotting the red around just randomly so that I can get that kind of random coloration when I do my chipping. It'll give me various rusty locations. Since I don't know how the chipping is going to come off, it's all going to be, random toothbrush style, so it doesn't make sense to do it all uniform like. Clean this out. Then we're going to put some chipping fluid on this beast, and then we'll work on the alien a little bit while the chipping fluid sets up on Ripley's loader. Then we'll come back. It's a multi-part process. It has a lot of moving parts. It's a professional application. It's one where you need to have been to school for at least half a semester to understand exactly what it is that I'm doing. And during that half a semester, you probably needed to go to class once,
Yeah, you can
maybe twice.
miss that one day.
Maybe
that
twice.
they covered
At
this
least
technique.
you had to go more than the one day where the teacher introduced himself, because that
Handed
day
out the
usually is
syllabus.
kind of useless. So you had to go for the next day where they actually got down to some business, right? Some serious business. So it's good. It's good. It's good. Hope everybody's having a wonderful week. Sliding head first into the weekend. Like I said, that's looking damn good over there. Is that just your base coat?
Yeah.
It's looking good.
Thanks.
Buttercup. Buttercup. I can't ever remember the damn name of the Princess Bride people. All right. I'm hoping that up here I have the stuff. Do I have this stuff? What is that? That's not the stuff. Ooh, that's the stuff. No, that's not the stuff. Is that the stuff? No, that's not the stuff. Is that it? Oh, that's it back. Is that,
You
no,
have too much
that's not it.
stuff.
That's not it. What about back here? When you have so many shelves and you have so many things. There we go. Warren effects. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing this. AK, Warren effects. That's what we're doing. Right? You hear me? You feel me? This is what we're doing. This is it. This is the deal. This is the do I have any pipettes out here? That's the next question. Pipettes? Pipettes? And no, that's not like a cartoon character. Pipette. Pipette. No. Oh, yes, it is. It's a pipette. Look at you! Can use this to get all the spit out of my ear after you freaking slime me.
Ooh, I can just fill it up and like squeeze it and see if it can shoot right into your ear.
Oh, man.
That'd be fun.
Why?
I have another one? I have another one.
Why is this a thing? All right. So the Warren Effects comes in a tub, and you don't want to pour out of the tub, so you use the pipette. And with the pipette, you put the Warren Effects in the freaking airbrush like so. Bing. Done. Easy. Right? Easy, I tell you. Easy.
Easy.
Easy. All right.
Like a Sunday morning.
That's adult contemporary for those of you that don't know. All right.
Jason
I'm just
makes
running it
fun of
raw.
me.
I'm not thinning the
I
chipping fluid down
occasionally
at all. I'm just going to
listen
do
to
a very
adult
light
contemporary.
coat, just enough to get a sheen on the model. I don't want to overload it too much. I'm only going for the areas that we have the brown on. I don't want to try to stay away from like the seat and things like that. And it doesn't matter if I don't get it everywhere, right? Because that's going to actually kind of help us as we go. If I don't have, like if there's some spots that don't have a lot of chipping fluid or none even, because then the paint won't be able to come off there and I'll get a more random chipping pattern anyway. So I'm just going to kind of float it around randomly. The only way you can tell what you're doing is by paying attention, keeping the model angled to where you can see the wetness going on it. Otherwise, you can overload very easily. So you'll notice I'm turning the model facing so that I can see the sheen and the light better. Want to try to make sure I get edges first and foremost. Probably stuff like down along the claw would have the most chipping. So I'll go ahead and load it up a little bit more.
Beauty Decker wants to know if you can clean the airbrush with water after using the chipping fluid, and also can you apply this by brush?
What's that? You can apply this by brush. I will clean the airbrush with airbrush cleaner after I use anything that is not just acrylic polymer paints. Okay, so anything like this, even if I use like enamels or latexes, varnishes, whatever, even acrylic the acrylic polyurethane varnishes, I'll still use the airbrush cleaner through it after them. I won't try to act like, you know, water alone will make a good follow-up to varnish. That's just kind of an old school way of thinking that I have that's followed me around forever, is if I put anything other than acrylic paint, I'm using some sort of heavier airbrush cleaner because I can't risk it. Now we're going to clean it real quick with the cleaner because we've got to then start spraying, and I'm not going to switch guns. I'm going to use this same gun. So I feel like this is pretty good. Go back and make sure that my first areas I get a little wet again. I just want to make sure I don't see a lot of texture building up on the model. You'll notice that the more layers you put onto this, if you've ever done the old hairspray method, this is not unlike that for its properties. It's just not hairspray. But if you build it up, it will give a texture just like the old hairspray method does. And so you got to be a little careful. That's why the airbrush is the better way to apply it. You can put it on as thin as you want, layer it up just like paint. And I feel like we're doing pretty good here. All right. So I've got a sheen. I've got a good sheen on everything. And yeah, you can brush it on. Again, you just want to not thin it, and you don't want to put too much on at once. If you brush it on, typically using a very quick, light stroke works very well. And just pay attention to how much buildup you've got, if any. So again, you don't put texture. You don't get too much like puddling up in recesses, because this stuff will not set up very well, and it'll cause you problems in like shadow recesses. If you can imagine like a wash that never dries, this is kind of like a wash that never dries if you let it pool. So airbrush best way. If you don't have access to an airbrush, brush is great. Just be careful, don't glom it on. Somewhere between like a dry brush kind of a consistency and a normal paint would be good.
What were you saying about the hairspray thing?
Hairspray, the old method for doing this before we had chipping solutions was to take hairspray and apply hairspray to the model at the same point that I'm doing now. So I'd paint my base colors on for my rust colors or whatever I had going on, and then I'd come back with hairspray and let the hairspray set up on it and dry. And then once the hairspray was dry, paint the model with the colors that I wanted on it, the actual color of the model, so to speak. And bingo, then once you painted that, you take a wet cloth, or not a cloth, but like a wet Q-tip or brush, stiff brush, and you could get it to do the chipping effect. The thing with the hairspray is that it was pretty big chipping. Like, you'd have to really, really take your time with it.
That's what I was getting at, because someone said, is this basically hairspray by AK at 10 times the cost?
No, it's not hairspray by AK. It's actually a better product, because it actually can control, like this stuff that I'm using, the heavy chipping fluid or the Worn Effects, it will give you slight stuff. If you let it dry, you have to scrub harder to get big chips out of it, because it's not as reactivatable as like the heavy chipping fluid. The heavy chipping fluid is more like big chunks will come off. So
Sidrian said varnish and primer are the two things that tend to clog my airbrush.
Yep.
Even with letting it set with cleaner, I usually have to dig something out of the nozzle.
Yeah.
Lucky Deuce, any tips for using Stynylrez Res primer? Just got a bottle of it from you. Figured I would ask.
Use it right out of the bottle. Do not fill your airbrush. If you're doing it with an airbrush, do not fill your airbrush to the brim with it, right? The key, and this kind of goes in line with that other question, primers will definitely clog your airbrush more. A couple of things that you can do to be preventative about that is use a larger nozzle airbrush for your priming. I use a 0.5 needle and nozzle setup for all of my priming, whereas I use a 0.3 for this stuff that I'm doing right now. Okay? These are the little armature things on Ripley, so I want to make sure we get that with the chipping fluid as well. Bingo. I got the cage. We should be good to go. So I'm going to rinse this out real quick.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Thank you for the bit.
Heads over, what's going on? I'm gonna do a little bit more on here, I think, just to, well, maybe not. Nah, I think we're good. So a larger nozzle works. Like I said, we run a 0.5 needle and a Badger Patriot 105 here for all of our priming. That'll allow more of the material to flow through and less tip dry and things like that, but it still will dry. Shoomtastic, what's going on? Thank you so much for that. So primer is just a thicker paint. And some people will say, well, thin your primer. Well, if you thin your primer, it's no longer priming, it's just painting. And that may sound funny, but that's the truth, right? Primer does what primer does because the polymers are thicker. And, the polyurethane, when it dries, gives you a thicker plasticine kind of coat to the model, because all the acrylics, when they dry, are basically just very thin sheeting of plastic. And so the primer you want to be as thick as it comes out of the bottle. So avoid thinning it if you can. If you just don't have any luck, I would say a couple drops of water at most. I wouldn't use any thinning solutions in it, really. Mediums, things like that. But just fill very little. Like right now, you see how I've got water as I'm cleaning my airbrush, and the water is maybe a quarter or a third of that. I would never put more primer in my brush than about that, and probably not even that much. Probably more like this, right? So probably about 25% of my airbrush loaded with primer, and I would never put any more than that in there. And then whenever I just spray that till I run out, Then I take a wet paper towel like I've got here, wipe through the inside of the cup so you get all of the dried remains, because primer will leave that skin on the top because it starts setting up pretty quick. Get in there and take that skin out, and then run 1 cup of water through it. Right? You don't have to worry about it being clean. You just want all of that thick, kind of semi-dry primer to come out. Run a cup of water through it, blow the water out dry, and then do another small cup of primer. I've been priming a ton around here lately, and that's just the way it is. I wind up filling my airbrush 100 times because I run very little through it. Wipe it out real quick, spray a cup of water through it. And by cup, I just mean the cup on the airbrush, not a full measuring cup. Spray a cup of water through it. That loosens everything up. Then go back with primer again, prime. And just rinse, repeat. Do that same thing over and over and over and over. Don't get caught where you're loading up your gun with primer, spraying the primer, it runs out, squirt more primer in, spray more primer, because all that dried skin of primer that happens right around the cup across the top edge settles down into the needle carriage and then gets thrown out the nozzle and starts clogging up the nozzle in the end of your gun. So, you always want to be able to see the needle and the needle entry point like you see here. And if you've got tons and tons of primer going in there, all of that will be almost invisible to you most of the time. So run the primer through, clean it, run the primer through, clean it, blah, 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 blah. Rinse, repeat. Sidrin, you can't get a 0.5 in the Neo. Not in this one. They don't make a 0.5 upgrade kit for this. You'll find online that people say there's one. There isn't one. At least unless you found a new one and they've started doing it. The 0.5 kit that I got that said it worked with the Neo TRN1 is not true. It only works for the TRN2. The TRN2 can switch out the needle sizes. The TRN1, from my experience and research, cannot. We got the kit. We tried it. It doesn't come with, because the entire front end assembly, nozzle forward, has to be replaced, and it only fits on the other body, not this one, because they're 2 totally different brushes. All right, I'm going to let that keep setting up over there for a second on the chipping solution. About 30, 45 minutes it can sit before we go back after it. I want it to be not completely tacky. Right now it'll be probably a little bit tacky. That's not bad, actually. Go ahead and let it set up for just a little bit. We'll focus in on the Queen for a minute. So we got the Alien Queen. Do some painting on her. John Patrick working on the last 3 minutes for your 30K armor that has to be finished by the 12th of October. Last 12th of October sounds like you win. That's not even like cramming for the finals. That's plenty of time. Light and Passion, what's going on? Cool, Lucky News. Hope that helps. All right, so I think the first thing I want to do is go over this with some really dark blue. Do you have signal blue, or do I?
I don't think I do.
Might be right. No, that's black.
Nope, that's black.
That ain't it.
I don't believe I have it.
Ah, here it is. I done finded it.
Yay. I don't have it.
I'm going to take some signal blue and mix it with black in the airbrush. Three drops of signal blue. And I'm going to do a drop of black. I got to make sure I use the Model Air black so that my mixture at least seems like it's sort of the same. Where's the Model Air black? That's a black gray. That's not what I want. That's black. Because we have a pre-highlight on this, I don't want to hit it with just the signal blue by itself. I want to add some black to it so that I don't get too vibrant of a blue. I'm wanting to have this be, black alien flesh, but I want to have the shadows be accented a little bit with blue. So that's what we're going to do now. Flow Improver. That should give me a really, really deep midnight style blue. Oh yeah, look at that. That's good. Like squid ink blue, we'll call this. Is that a color? It is now.
It is now.
Squid ink blue is what we've made. That was 3 drops of blue to 2 drops of black. So not quite 50-50. And that's a really, really good way to get a great shadow color for a base coat down when you're doing blacks, so that you don't have to go through with too much blue. Now you'll still see that when I spray this over the top of the alien, we will get quite a bit of blue showing up on the like light gray portions of this pre-highlight still. Right? But we will get a really good dark blue in our shadows, and that's really what we're going for here. I'm going to turn the model so that I'm firing up from beneath on most of this. Again, all these models that you're seeing us paint today, the Princess Bride ones that Jen is doing, these alien chibis that we're working on here, these are all from Impact Miniatures, impactminiatures.com. They are not sponsors, so to speak. We're not in league with them business-wise. We just love what they do. And they took time out to send us these really cool models. And when we saw them, we were so stoked. And you, if you like the chibi concept and you want some really, really cool variations on the theme, check them out, because it's not just all like Super Dungeon Explorer. You know, they've got all sorts of crazy stuff like this.
But this one is from Impact Miniatures.
Yep.
Like
Yeah, they've got a whole line of
unicorn.
like pony chibis for
Yeah, they're
some
very
board game or
cute.
something like that. Geez, Light and Passion. I mean, take my nerd card, why don't you? Okay, so again, I'm firing up from beneath here so that I can get that blue in the shadow. See how that works? But because I'm doing it up from underneath, it doesn't overtake my pre-highlight. So I still get that weird interaction between the blue and the white and gray that happened before. So as long as you know how to go against the grain for the angle you took with your pre-highlight, you can make some really cool stuff happen here. Right, without shooting blue directly over my white highlight, right? I'm getting, see how that blue is visible in the shadows there, but not from up here.
Lucky Deuce, you need to teach them how to paint. Get them some ponies and have them start painting with you. John Patrick said, did they send you the power loader chibi?
That's the one I got. That's the one we're painting.
Oh, that's what she's, okay.
That's the one we're painting. We're
I see
waiting
it.
for the chipping solution to dry so that I can start painting the power loader yellow. And yeah, it's got Ripley in it, and the cage that we've been painting. So we got the rust colors and now the chipping solution all over the power loader. And now we're doing just taking the time while all that dries to throw some color on the queen here. Again, just finding all these angles, firing up from below, so that anywhere where I catch the darkness, I might get a touch of blue through on the white, but only a little if I do this right. I don't want to overtake much of my grays and whites with blue if I can avoid it. Right? But I want to make sure that like this under piece of the face there has got that blue in the shadow. And then when you get up close, I'm making sure that not much of that blue overspray goes up into the white. Right? But we get that really cool black blue going. Real simple way to shade your blacks. You can do this also with a paintbrush if you just, paint the underside of all your highlights areas, paint all your shadows in with this color. I find that obviously with an airbrush a little bit quicker. So again, like on this arm, see how we've got all these details in there? Those are great. So if I move the model like this, about that angle, then I can fire this blue into those details from the bottom side. Like up here in the arm too, where I get that blue in the shadow. But then when you turn it like this, you don't see any of that blue. So it's just about using the model to deflect the paint so that it's not getting where you don't want it. Going all up the back of the legs and the actual spine the same way. See that nice blue in all the shadows, but it goes away as we rotate the model up.
Nope, we're not going to do that, Bob's your uncle. Bob's your uncle said that Jen's getting good enough to paint to just replace you with a cardboard cutout and star in her own show.
I keep telling you, she's not buying into it, but I think we're almost there.
Nope.
My dreams of lots of naps about to come true. I'll just be napping in the other room. Don't call me, I'll call you.
No naps.
She says no. We lose.
Not allowed.
We lose, Bobs. Can't argue with a woman. She won't allow us. She doesn't want it to happen, it won't happen. It's the way the world works. Get used to it. Okay, so again, getting that cool blue in the shadows, but not overtaking too much of our highlight up on top. All right, so from below, I just want to make sure we see lots and lots of blue in all of our darkest spots, so I'll keep adding it into every shadow. Like I said, this was 3 drops of blue, 2 drops of black. Now, the cool thing about this model, and if the Impact guys were here, they'd be laughing at me right now, because the material they use is actually blue. So you could probably do some cool things with the material showing through your colors, but I didn't want to go in with it. It was not something that I had used before. They sent like some notes saying, hey, you know, his son that does all of their studio painting,
But they don't have to be primed.
doesn't
right?
even prime because he just likes to use the blue that the model material is as the shadow. And so as he just paints his base coats up over the blue, he says he gets a really neat shadow undercolor, which is cool. I don't feel comfortable doing that without having more practice with it on the particular material and all that. But as I'm painting this, it's probably a very similar kind of effect that they would get. Now what I'm going to do here is kind of shoot straight across the top of the head from behind. So I'm getting the back of all these plates. Can you see that happening there? All right. Again, doesn't overtake any of my white, right? But gives me all that nice blue in the darkest recesses. Notice how from behind here we get a lot of contrast, but when you look at it from above, all that contrast tends to go away. And so you're just trying to find all the angles that allow you to do that. Like right here, shooting up the side of the head, I want to get these dark areas here turned blue. So I just angle the model like this, and then hit that blue really heavy right along that dark spot there, where all that is blue, but again, you don't get it along all of your whites. It's all about angle and just taking care as you're painting. I'm spraying past the model in most of this, right? Catch these angles. Like so. Now we're starting to get that cool bluish tone. You can see how my blue starts to intrude just a little on the white, that blue-black, and then gives it that really, really good fade down into black, which is what we're looking for. liking that. Eyes are burning.
Your eyes are?
My eyes started watering.
Why?
Huh? Probably just because of the fan.
Oh, yeah. Mine were watering when I came in.
It's so hot. Oh my God, it's so hot.
The sweatband not catching the sweat?
Kevin, that was like a month ago. What's going on, man? Yeah, what's up with that? Like my sweatband's faulty or something, man.
Oh, defective.
Oh, I got a defective sweatband. I can't run that marathon tomorrow.
What? Sounds like an excuse to me.
Ray, is the last chibi that I touched is the tank one?
I think so.
Maybe so, because Jen's been painting a lot of them, but I haven't been doing many.
Gosh, I have like the worst tickle in my throat.
Dealer Death says, would you do something similar for a dark blue gray? Do you mean like for your final color? Would I do something similar? Like if your final color was going to be a dark bluish gray, would you? I mean, remember this model is going to be black. So I'm about to filter really, really thin black over the top of all of this, right? To dull my whites down a little bit. I'm just trying to get that contrast amped up and make sure my shadows are this cool blue color first, right? Before I go back with the black, right? Because the black is going to dull all of this down a little bit. So yeah, you could do this with any color that you wanted to do, any dark colors. You could do any of the grays, any like pale colors, blues, grays, anything like that. This reverse kind of reverse shadowing with the dark blue black works wonders. Can you do it with other colors too? Sure, you could do it with reds, you could do it with purples, greens even. You could do it with and get some really cool effects out of it. So yeah, anytime that you want to get a neat kind of filter in your shadows, you can do it one of two ways. Obviously, you can do like what we were doing on the Dino Rider that we're painting, right? The Dino Rider, we started off with just a really, really dark coat of that purple on the skin, right? So we've got this guy. For those of you that might be new or haven't been following along, we're painting this Dino Rider model, and it's a really, really awesome model. And we've been taking a lot of time. I've only done airbrushing so far. The only brushwork that I've done is cutting in like the little scales on the back just to test the coloration of that dark color on the thorny scale bits or whatever. But everything else is done in a manner where we started with a really, really dark purple for the skin, even though the skin is meant to be these light deserty tans, and then the faded kind of turquoise into bright blue on the tail like a skink. So, but we started with that dark purple and then feathered our other colors over it so that dark purple continued to live on the model as a shadow color. I could have also done it the way I'm doing with the model that we're seeing now, the alien model. The problem is on a big model that I'm doing as much detail on like this, I don't want to be airbrushing the dark color on the model in that same sequence. I want to start dark, work light so that I can control all of my variants each step of the way. It's not too different from what we're doing here, but a little bit, enough so that I wouldn't have. I could do either one of those on this model, but I wouldn't do the process I'm using on this small chibi model on a big, super detailed model like this, if that makes sense. All right. Oh yeah, Doka. All we did was really, I guess we did do brushwork on that, right? You caught me. I forgot. We blocked in the beginnings of the shine for the non-metallic armor on the tail there. Just really roughed in the bright reflection and dark reflective lines on that non-metallic armor. I've still got to blend all that together. I haven't touched this thing in a while. All right, so let's do a little dusting of black back over the top of this. I really like the blues right now. That looks good. Let me make sure I got it all the way I want it. Then we'll go back to the loader and start painting some yellows in there. I just don't want any areas that are like solid black anymore is what I'm going for. I'm trying to eliminate all of the solid black shadows and make sure that anywhere where we've got darkness is tinted with this blue. And I think we're there. there's any areas that are solid black, they're not visible as you're just randomly looking at the model, so I'm okay with that. Get the gist of what we've done. You'll see that hint of blue coming up into our pre-highlight, but only just barely. I lost a few points. I didn't get my license revoked. All right. My nerd license is not revoked. It's chitin. Whatever, man. It's alien skin. It's hard-ass alien skin. And then there's acid underneath it. I'm not worried about how to pronounce it. I'm only worried about getting away with my life. Make sure I get most of this blue-black out of here. Doesn't matter if a little bit's still in there. I'm going to be filtering black over this so it'll eat up and desaturate anything that's left in the gun. But just for muscle memory, go through and clean up as much as we can. So I'm just going to take Model Air Black. And we are going to thin the absolute crud out of this. We want this to basically be dirty water glaze. So for this size of a model, right, we got this little chibi alien queen here. It's not huge. I'm going to do 1-2 drops of black. That's it. Right? So hardly any paint at all. Right? You can't even tell there's paint in there really. Right? None in the cup. Just a little 2 drops down at the very bottom. And then I'm going to float this in freaking Flow Improver. I've got Flow Improver coming all the way up to the cup there. See? So this is dirty water if ever there was anything that we would call dirty water glaze. It's like putting a drop of food color in a gallon of water and then asking people what color that is. Be like super, super thin watercolor or something. For those of you that are new here, this is what I call filtering. The goal here is to come up with a black. See if I spray it on a paper towel. It's still black, 100% black, but look how long I have to spray on my hand to get that opacity to build up. See, now I'd call that to be about 100% opaque on the black, and it's still so thin that it'll literally just come right off. Okay. Now the reason we do this, and we do it so thin, is so that we don't overtake any of the white that we've got here instantly, right? We're trying to dull, like right here at the tip of the tail. I want this black to be able to come in and dull it down, but not cover it entirely, right? So I'm coming from the same angle that I did all of my pre-highlight now, and just feathering this real thin black right over everything. Top down. Remember we did the blue-black bottom up, now we're doing the black top down. Might seem funky, but it's a really easy, quick way to get a really interesting blackish, alien kind of chitin, whatever the hell you call that. I think it's chitin, right? So we still get that really cool highlight that we had from our white, but now our white is no longer white. It's various shades of gray. And so that pushes that black look along the tail there, the segments of the tail, right? No longer are they white. I leave a little bit of brightness out here towards the point of the tail, right? But nowhere else. So you look at the head and everything here, how white it is. We'll take that and start pushing color on it. Right? Just feathering as we go. This super, super thin black. Again, the opposite direction on every spot of this model from the way that we did that blue-black. So you might not remember exactly, but you kind of pick it up. You know what you did. right? So notice how it dulls that white way down, gives us that really cool reflection, and check out what the blue does. See how when the blue was coming up into the white, now look at how that blue comes up from the black along the chin and up into the head, how we get that blue-black shadow working up with our blacks. All right, so now we get a really, really cool looking alien armor going on without having to worry about it too much. I mean, this is literally like, hey, no sweat. We can do that in a heartbeat, kid. Layer up if I need to. Inside of this leg down in here. That looks pretty damn good, actually. All right. So notice how thin that black had to be to get this effect, to just dull our whites down enough to make them look like the shine that would happen on top of, you know, shiny black. Right? So I push those whites up pretty high, and then we're going to dull them back down, knowing that we were going to dull them back down with this super thin black. And now when I go back through and start just pulling pin highlights on all of these edges with the brush, we can pop all that detail back out, and that's really all we got to do, right? Because we're not looking to put a whole lot more color on this. The blue really handles most of it for us by having all of our shadows, and like, you know, right here at the tip of the head, you see that faint blue. The faint blue as it comes out of the shadows everywhere gives us almost exactly what we want with this kind of a creature. Super easy. Super duper easy. That's enough to do on that one right now. We'll move back to the loader now that the chipping solution is set. $10 days, a month, whatever, Kevin. I don't trust Canadian clocks. Hammerhands, your hobby is cursed at the moment. Say what? What is the hobby curse? Order a new compressor because your first one burnt out. Someone stole the package when it was delivered. Oh, come
that's
on.
Horrible. Why are people so rotten?
Welcome back, Rob. That sucks. Gren says to Lucky Deuce, don't let him get your address. He'll send Chibi stuff for his girls to fight over. Rod Ferrugia, thank you, my friend. Rod says, still around, just can't get painting motivated. What? Well, we got to try harder, honey.
Ah, look at this, Rod.
Look what
wait,
she's doing.
wait. Rod Ferrugia has not seen this.
He may have been lurking.
Oh, maybe.
Been lurking. Check out what Jen's been doing. Look at this thing. Look at this beauty. That's Jen's 6th model. 6th. 6th. Like one of the guys at the hobby store was trying to convince her it needed to go in the case for display when she gets the base done.
No.
And it literally is better than some of the stuff that is in the display case. She's nailing it. Just absolutely killing it. Looks great, babe.
I am pretty excited about this one, I have to say.
You've done a great job.
I like it. Well, that's what we've been up to.
That's what you've been up to. I've been lazy. I haven't done jack.
And now we're doing these.
I painted some yellow the other day, and now I'm going to paint yellow again. I painted yellow on this armor, and now I'm going to paint some yellow again.
It is a Princess Bride Chibi from Impact Miniatures. So I have Buttercup here and Wesley. There's a whole. They're not available just yet, but they will be. Go. Humperdinck. Fezzik? Humperdinck?
Yeah, and then there's the big guy.
Vizino?
Huh?
Fezzik. Fezzik is the big guy.
Fezzik.
And Inigo Montoya.
and the Dread Pirate Roberts.
No.
Is in there someplace.
Count Rugen. No.
Huh? Yeah, we got the Six-Finger Man, didn't we?
No.
He sent it
well,
separate.
No, that's Rugen.
Oh.
That's Count Rugen. That's
Oh,
not the-
okay. I thought we had.
But he is the one who killed Inigo Montoya's father.
Oh,
That's
okay.
this guy.
Okay. All right. So now what we got to do?
My name is Inigo Montoya.
Now what we got to do here? What
You
we got
killed my
to do?
father. Prepare to die.
What we got to do while she plays house with her miniatures is what we got to do here. See, is we
Reenacting
gotta.
a scene.
We gotta do some yellow, and so I'm gonna start off my yellows with some canned black brown, cause if we're doing yellow, we gotta use canned black brown. That's a thing. It's a rule. You have to.
Oh, that's right, Hammerhands. We heard about the wife with the appendicitis. I hope she's fully recovered now, right? Cause
Oh, yeah.
Or a few days ago.
That was
She
like
had
last
just
week,
gotten
right?
back from she'd been out of the country, and like that same night they got back or something.
And had
she
the
appendicitis.
emergency.
That's right.
Even though it was going to be an
Hopefully she's
outpatient
good.
thing, that's a pain in the
Yeah.
in the parts for sure. Where's Canned Black Brown? Do you have Canned Black Brown over there?
Maybe.
I feel like it went to the store with
I
us.
think
Did we
it
not?
did.
Did we not bring it home? Ah, Canned Black Brown. It's right
doing good.
here.
All right,
Of course
awesome.
it is. Don't we base yellow with blue anymore? Not today, Metal God. That's a secret that I can't stand to let get out more than once a year. So, chill. So chill, man. Chill. Take it easy with giving out our secrets, all right? Always base yellow with blue. Trust me. It'll work. I feel like every time I make a joke like that, people go off and say, okay, so Fuse said blue under yellow. He's never been wrong before. He's never led me astray. And then I get all these people angry, burning and pitchforks outside the house. You told us blue would work.
This stupid thing.
Hey, work out. Ow, work out. What stupid thing? Army painter?
Yes. And it exploded.
Stop wasting the paint.
But it wasn't even good.
Stop wasting the paint.
I could use it. Well, actually, I wouldn't have needed that much.
She has a real bad habit of squeezing the bottle too hard. She's like, hey, no paint's coming out. Man hand. And then looks at me and goes, I did a boo-boo. We're at the store the other day and half the bottle of, I don't remember what color.
Canned Black Brown.
Canned Black Brown. That's why I'm like, why is there no Canned Black Brown? Oh, that's right. Jen used it. That's right. Jen-tastic. Waster of paint.
Yeah, you're good now, Hammerhands. I think that you're
You've
in the clear.
met
for
your
a
quota
while.
for the year, right? I feel like you're done. You don't have to. You don't owe anything else. Smooth sailing, hopefully. Get back on that hobby horse. Hobby horse.
Hobby horse.
Wow. Who knew? That's what they meant.
I don't think that is what they meant.
Oh, sorry.
Works for us, but
All right. Now we're going to paint the loader. Now that we have all of the rust color on there, I'm going to go back and cover up all that rust color with the way we really want to paint it. All right? Which is with Canned Black Brown. Again, the hardest thing about doing the chipping solution stuff is remembering as you go through with your next layers of paint and all that you really are just picking up and painting from the beginning, right? You can't, like if you've done your shade or your rust colors the way I have with a little bit of highlight to them, you can't let that highlight throw off your game when you're painting the model, because now we're going over it with exactly the color it's supposed to be and trying to pretend like that rust stuff doesn't even exist. And especially when I'm doing tone on tone, like, the rust colors that we've got on there, very, very close to our Canned Black Brown. So I just got to make sure I get good coverage. Again, if you weren't here earlier in the show, we based this thing with rust colors from AK. Nothing special about the paint. Just the AK Interactive rust color set. I started with like shadow rust and then moved through shadow rust into dark rust, light rust, so on and so forth. So nothing funky about that. Just standard painting, way we would any day if we were painting rust. But then we're going back over it. We went back over it, I should say, with chipping solution, also from AK. We use the Worn Effects chipping solution as opposed to the heavy chipping solution. The heavy chipping solution will remove a lot of paint when you get to that point. We're not really in the mood to remove a ton of paint. We're just trying to get it to where it'll allow us to scuff it. And at this scale, still, we'll be able to get some really big chips out of the paint. All right? But basically, the chipping solution puts a layer in between the base coat of rust colors that protects that layer. All the rust colors won't come off, but everything that we put above it when we reactivate with water will be susceptible to getting knocked down. So all these colors that we're going to do right now, that's pretty good. For our shadow layer, again, we've just sunk all of our rust colors. They're underneath there still, don't worry. And we're just going to go through the steps of painting up to yellow. I think next I'm going to go with dark earth or flat earth. And then from flat earth, we'll start moving into our yellow colors. We're just going for that industrial, tool yellow, tractor yellow kind of feel. So next I'm going to go flat earth. Just gives it kind of a golden brown. Nothing special about the way I'm doing this, just a couple of drops of paint. Flow improver, not super thin, just our standard kind of medium thin painting method through the airbrush. So probably about double the amount of flow improver as we've used paint on the model. Not as crazy as we just did with that thin black. How you doing over there, babe?
Doing okay.
Jen gets in the zone when she paints.
I do.
So you got to kick her under the table every now and then. Be like, hey.
Hey.
How you doing over there?
Paint kind of slid a little bit, and I was focused on the wrong side, and it kind of dried in a way that looks a little funky. So I'm trying to fix it. Trying to do my own fixing of things.
Nice. So right now I'm going to just take the angle like I was doing a pre-highlight almost and hit it with this yellowy brown. So I start setting up my shadows again. Get color up in all these recesses. So I've got color to give whenever we start chipping. Basically, I'm just forcing my cam black brown down into the darkest shadows. Just standard painting. It doesn't change the way you paint when you want to chip. It just changes the order you do things a little bit. right? Because you've got to do a little bit more. You got to color it twice, basically, right? We got to throw all the rust colors and highlight those the way we want, and then we got to come back and do all of the standard paint colors that we want. So if this was green, we'd be painting all of our greens right now, whatever. Did you get it, Ming? Good. I never wait for anybody to actually answer when I say you understand. It makes it easier that way. Right? If I wait for them to answer, then they say no, we don't understand, and then I got to tell it again.
Explain. Actually have to work.
I think next I'm just going to jump straight into yellow ochre over the top of this. I might normally go to like a golden brown, but I think I'm just going to jump to yellow ochre right now. Ain't nobody got time for that. We're going to go yellow ochre, yellow RLM, and then and maybe a little bit of highlight with like golden yellow or something like that. Get some bright edge highlights on there. Make it a little bit metallic. Although we don't, obviously with all the rust chipping that we're going to do, we don't want it to be super shiny yellow. So. But again, cam black brown so far, then dark or flat earth. I always want to say dark earth. It's just flat earth. The earth is flat. If you didn't know,
What?
ask Vallejo. Says right on the bottle.
Starting rumors.
Starting rumors. Leave that to Facebook. Yellow ochre. Boink boink. Yellow ochre from Model Air. Pow. I forgot to paint any of the other stuff. So maybe the cage is a different color. I don't know. I think we'll paint the cage black. Because we forgot to paint any yellow on it. A little less flow improver into the yellow ochre because the yellow ochre is already an air paint, so it's a little thinner out of the gates. I also want it to be a little bit more opaque as it goes on than the other colors as we go brighter. I don't want to have to layer as much with the brighter colors. So again, probably 30-60 paint to flow improver when I get to this stage. Off to the side here, I'll blow a lot of the paint through just to make sure we've cleared it. And then again, I'm just going to start in same kind of way from my pre-highlight angle up here, right? Now we're starting to see that yellow fall in there. Just keep layering that up. Rotate around and get this shoulder and arm over here. Reason I'm doing it at this angle is so that hopefully that's obvious that it will deflect some and keep paint away from some of our shadows. Just like doing our pre-highlight. And when we look at it, we maintain some darkness in those areas because the paint can't force itself up this way, so we get much darker. See all our cam black browns here and all of our yellows up here. Again, just use the model as a way to deflect and guide paint around the surfaces as much as you can without having to pick the model up, right, and aim paint into specific crevices all the time. You're going to have to do that anyway, but the more you can avoid it, the more you'll keep all of your shadows intact. Right. Now I will go ahead and pick it up, and we'll go ahead and put some yellow like in the center there. These doohickeys on the side. Gonna throw a little bit of yellow even into the shadows, just not build it up. That way nothing looks like it's two-tone brown and yellow. We want to make everything appear that it was just shadowed yellow. In order to do that, you got to have yellow everywhere. But notice how I'm just moving around quickly, not spending a lot of time. Like on the underneath of this claw, I want it to still look like it's yellow paint and just shaded. So I'll go ahead and throw some yellow in there, but I won't build it up too much. Same with the underside of the arm, underside of the leg, butt. Again, just filtering like we did with that thin black almost. On the shins, even though they angle back down towards the ground. All these shaded components. Just do some air real quick. It's all going to have kind of a weird sheen. It's a lot shinier than you're used to seeing, all because of that base that we started with the chipping solution. Now I'm going to layer up a little bit more just from our top angle. Now that I feel like we're pretty good in all the recesses, just focus on everything I can hit from up here. Never changing the angle of the airbrush, just lowering it and raising it as needed to hit the various areas, like down at the foot. I'll lower the airbrush, but I'm never changing the angle. It's always facing the model at the exact same angle. I've got a little bit more, throw a little bit more into the shadows because we still have a bright yellow coming at this. Right, but now our shadows are really starting to fall in there nice and neat. And we're out. Clean that out, move to yellow RLM, which is our next brighter yellow. And then finally, we'll probably go to, let's see, can we skip? I think maybe we'll skip yellow RLM and go straight to medium yellow. Yeah, I think I want to go straight to medium yellow. The yellow RLM, you know, I think it'll be fast enough. Let's do the yellow RLM. That would be my normal movement from the yellow ochre.
Before you start that, can you look at her cheek and tell me how I can fix that?
What did you feed? Or what's the problem?
That cheek right there. You'll see it.
The little bright spot that's on there? I would just go back with your darker color
I kind of did that a little
paint that side.
Okay, just
A little more opaque.
just over it more.
Yeah, just go thicker with your darker paint,
Okay.
and you're fine. I like the blend on this cheek, though. Nice to the darker side underneath towards the chin. Your blend on this entire side of the face is fantastic.
Thanks.
Yeah, other than that one little blemish. I think just go back darker and then work at doing it. This whole side of the face is a little bit darker, though, so
Okay.
you're fine.
Okay.
Very good.
Thanks.
Good looking.
Thanks.
But did you use any Lehman Russ? What are you talking about? Lehman Russ? What are we talking about? What is that? Is that a color? I don't know what you're talking about. Is that a GW thing? We have a handful of GW paints. I don't know what any of them are. Yes, base yellow with red as well, Drac. You're on it. You've got all the secret tech. You figured it out. All right. A little less flow improver in the brighter yellow. Again, Keep mixing towards more opacity as you go up in value. Well, as comfortable as you can be. Like a lot of people get used to painting thin and they understand how the thin paint layers, and then they go a little bit more opaque and it starts getting chalky and, you know, might spatter differently out of your brush. So do it as you're comfortable, right? As I say, don't thin it as much. You can definitely thin it the same for every layer and then just spend more time layering the color to opacity. We talk about that a lot around here. But if you want to, you know, shortcut it a little bit, then you are definitely able to have less thinner as you go brighter. All right, so again, I'm just going from this angle of my primary light source, whatever that means on this model. And here, I won't go up from underneath very much at all. I mean, I'll probably make sure that we don't have any aberrations in color and transition, but I'm not going to do the same shooting up from the shadows like I have with all the other colors so far. Just always keeping the airbrush up at this kind of pretend it's the sun angle. Right? Okay. When we look at it, we got to make sure that we don't get, again, any stark transitions from the yellow to the brown. So we'll come and get like the tops of these knees. Just keep that fade on the knees good. Tops of the toes as they inch out from the body. And a little bit of yellow in between the toes there. Such. Still going to go with one brighter color so I can afford to have a little bit more of a landing zone for this yellow. But I like my shadows, so I'm not going to push too much more in here. Top of this, notice how I'll angle the model away from me so that I can just kind of shoot upwards at it and blend out of my darkness right above the headrest there. If I angle and shoot this way, I know I'm just kind of hitting the tops of all these pieces. I can just feather to where that shadow stays right above the headrest like that. Pretty good. Always keeping the nozzle moving so I make sure that I'm getting good blend. Feathering a color. Don't want any lines really. I lied, I'm going to push a little bit up into the shadows down here just because I'm not happy with how brown it is versus the yellow. I'm really digging the yellow, but you got to always be paying attention to how that yellow looks as it runs into your shadows. Do your shadows get too dark too quick? If so, then don't ever feel bad about filtering a little bit of the brighter color up into your shadows. Brighten them up a little bit. Because if you, especially like in the case where we are right now, where we're even going to go a little bit brighter with our yellow after this with our highlight. So I want to make sure that what we do next doesn't completely give us a weird contrast on the whole model. I like the dirty yellow. I like going from bright to dark, but I don't want to have it be super, super bright to super, super dark. And I think that's looking pretty good. That's got all of our panel lining in it is really good. All our shading is really good. Feel like the brightness to shadow level is pretty good. Maybe a little dark up underneath here. The inner thighs, they're very hard to get to. That was not meant to be an innuendo. Bingo, I like it. All right. Cool, almost there. One more color. Medium yellow. We should be done. Do we want medium yellow, or do I want to just do, I might want to just do yellow RLM and a little bit of ivory, to be honest with you. I think the medium yellow might toss us into a world where we might be a little bit too orange. I've got another paler yellow around here that I like. Some of the bright yellows are going to go to where they are a little bit like sunny skin tone, golden yellow. They tend to get a little too orangey, and I'm afraid to put that right over what we got because we don't want to shift the hue any warmer. So I think I'm going to go back. I probably shouldn't have dumped that out. I'm going to go back to our yellow RLM that we just used, and I'm just going to put a little bit of maybe a pale sand or an ivory or something in this. So I'm going to put 3 drops of the yellow RLM in there. Same exact color we just used. Instead of going to this. Right, because I feel like this, see how that is? How we're getting that kind of almost lemony yellow as it interacts with the brown on there. I don't want to put this on there and get more of an orangey yellow happening. So if we can avoid that, I might just go in with German yellow on top of this, as a matter of fact. Yeah, I think I'm going to use German yellow. Try to drop a German yellow in with the yellow RLM and see what we get. It's still in the kind of world of yellow. But very pale.
Hey,
Hey,
those porno magazines.
That's
Large
been a while.
box condoms, a bottle of Old Harper,
Our Old
a couple
Harper.
of those panty shields, and some illegal fireworks, and one of those disposable enemas.
Only one?
No, make it 2.
All right, now we're partying. Yep, this is perfect. This eliminates a lot of that orange I was worried about. Keeps us right tone on tone with where we were going with the yellow RLM, but gets it a little bit brighter. So it's not a color that I have in my arsenal, or it's close to, but not quite like this. What is this? Arid Earth? Moon Dust is almost there. Kinda, sorta. Even a little bit paler than what I've built. I feel like this is probably a good, comfortable color to hit it with. Oh yeah, that's gonna be great. So again, same thing. Next verse, same as the first. All right, we just want to hit this. Now this one, this is where you stop wanting to go into the shadows. You don't want to really hit the shadows. What you want to do with this is peek any highlights, any bright spots that you might want, any kind of metallic shine that you may want to get, because see, this starts giving us that brightness that we want out of the yellow, and we don't really want to force it into any of our shadows if we can avoid it. If you want to catch like a specific corner, of something like that down on the bottom of that arm, go for it. So you start to get more specific as we get into these brighter colors. Do a little bit of edge highlighting. Get in real close in here. Brighten up the claw area. Get the tops of these hinges or bearing spots there. Like so. Again, top down only on this color if you can make it happen. You can avoid trying to get too deep into the shadows. Oh, I hit it with my fingernail and it already chipped it.
Oh, you're supposed to do that or no?
Well, I didn't mean to. It's not bad, but I didn't mean to do it. When I was moving the model around, I hit it with my fingernail real quick.
Guess you know it works then?
Huh?
I guess you know it works then?
Oh, yeah. No, I know the chipping works, but yeah, you got to be careful because it will activate if you touch it too hard, like I just did. Smack it with your fingernail. Trying to avoid that.
Gren said, so here's something cool you might like. We're building a maker space, a 21st century shop class, and some of the kids have seen me looking at minis and hobby stuff online. I might be able to get them to share the stuff they make. No promises, though. Kids can be bashful.
Far out.
Yes, they can.
Very cool.
That's awesome. Greenleaf says hi.
Oh,
Greenleaf
yeah,
says
sure you
hi.
did. Yeah. Hey, great. Good to see you. It's that guy what thinks I'm old. Likes to remind me how old I am all the dang time. We get the outside edge of this claw real quick. I'm just going to kind of shoot past the model so that I can use the overspray to give me a good edge highlight on that claw. Like so. And then same thing on this side. Painting my finger and letting the overspray hit the edge of the claw there. Right. So I get that shine. Any? Her feet go in those stirrup things, so I don't know that that's a big deal, but light a little bit again, aiming up towards the top of these peaks on there. And then I don't want to bring that down. I want there to be a little bit of shadow there because that's where the cage hits. And then I just want to kind of highlight a little V into the part above her head, right there. So I've got highlights on the tops and then just a little V of highlight there. And I can kind of hit the edge of that and hit the edge of that. Oh, yes. Gots to be careful. Got paint on my fingers. Sticking around. I'm going to cause more damage being reckless here than anything. Going fast. Look back, feather anywhere where I see that I need to brighten my shadows just a little bit. Can still use a little bit of this color in here. Be careful not to overload it. The nozzle or the needle real quick. Got a little bit of buildup there because again, we're not thinning the paint down as we go. Right? We're actually going thicker as we go brighter. So it'll only be now that I start getting a little bit of tip dry. I haven't had any issues with the airbrush until this brighter color.
So everything he wears is black. So I should just paint it black first, and then I can kind of make it look like worn out or whatever.
Well, I just did the alien in a way that was really cool for black. You could do that same kind of thing if you wanted to give it a go.
Well, I was
Do it with a brush.
painting my own model, and I didn't see what you did.
Uh-oh. Hey, chat. Tell
Somebody
Jen what she
rewind
has to do.
Can you rewind it? Can we rewind so I can see it?
Hey, chat. Somebody tell Jen what she needs to do. Right, I'm liking this.
Oh, was it the blue and the black?
Yep.
Signal blue and black?
Yep.
Okay, I'll do that.
In the shadows only with signal blue and black. Right?
Okay.
So roughly 50-50 with the signal blue and black. Not quite. It's actually more signal blue. Three signal blues and one of black. But if you're doing it on the brush, you can just do 50-50 and you'd be pretty good.
Okay. And then, but not the whole thing. So do I do the whole thing black first and then go with the blue?
He's already highlighted pretty well. So right now you just start glazing the shadows in, all the dark spots with the black blue.
Okay.
Then you're going to go over everything else with a really, really, really thin black from the top down.
Okay.
Okay.
So glazing black super thin
Super
as
thin.
well.
Yep, super thin.
Okay.
But into the shadows. And not as thin as you'll go back with the black. Like, it's thin, but it's not super thin. Does that make sense?
Okay.
The shadows can be thicker, is what I'm saying.
Okay. I don't know if I know what that means. I'm not sure if I know what that means. Like if I'm not sure.
Well, just your regular way of painting. There's thinning down for filtering, which is super thin. That's the way the black will be. The black blue is just your regular painting way. Like the way you've been doing the skin.
But not all over.
No, only in the shadows. Like imagine painting from the bottom up with that. Okay, notice how when you look at them, the pre-highlight has the whites and grays coming down. Then turn it and paint the blue-black mixture from the bottom up into all those dark areas to where they just barely meet the spots that start getting bright. So you get just a little thin spot of blue. See what I did here is I went in and painted like the dark black area that was. All the pre-highlight came down and blended into the black right at the bottom of this little dome. And then I painted the blue right up to where you just get a fringe of that blue through the gray like that.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
See?
I think I get it. Okay. Can I have those colors?
No.
Please.
Black. What did I do with signal blue? Put it back. Here. Bring. There you go.
Thank you.
There you go.
Sure,
And I think I can just use German yellow, this German yellow to highlight here. So I'm just going to do that. I'm going to clean this out. We're going to do some edge highlighting, and then we're going to do some chipping. You have to, well, you don't have to do your edge highlighting first. You will really hate yourself if you don't.
You donate $5 to the cause, and maybe it'll make you feel better.
It's not even slut face. What's going on with that buck? What's happening?
Whoa.
Long time no see.
First, I start with the bright yellow.
Yeah. If you want black, start with bright yellow, then
Bright
green,
yellow.
then some red, all the primary colors,
Yeah.
right? Then at the end, black.
Okay.
At the end, very thick black over the top of all of the primary colors you just painted. That's bad. That's bad info. We would call that bad teaching. This is not what to do, people. Don't listen to us. Don't listen to chat, I guess, because chat's been giving all sorts of really, really bad techniques tonight. Trying to throw everybody off.
Received from 5 Lut Face. My wife has been on my case all night. I forgot one thing at the grocery store. I don't understand her problem. I remembered the garbage bags, cereal, dog food. Yet she keeps yelling at me because all I forgot was the baby.
Okay, that wins because Windows lady told that one perfectly. She keeps yelling at me because all I forgot was the baby.
She had a good delivery there.
Okay, that was freaking hilarious. That was freaking hilarious. That was freaking hilarious. Jesus. The jokes. You guys got jokes.
Jokes for days.
Jokes for days, don't you? Can't be trusted, this chat. Making us laugh while we're trying to paint. Trying to paint serious business. Y'all can't be... I can't take myself seriously as I look at myself with this headband on.
Good.
Oh, wait for the glory that is going to be tomorrow. Green is primary. Drac, right? They're not bad techniques, technically. They're just the very long way around. They're just very long techniques. They're the very long way to get to the good ones. All right, so I'm just taking this German yellow. Right, and now we're going to start doing some highlights. What I was saying before is that you don't have to highlight right now if you don't feel like it. But when you start chipping, right, if you're doing chipping and you don't have edge highlighting done, you then have to go in and all of your edge highlighting is spotty, right? You have to go in around your chipping, and that's a real pain in the butt. So I'm going to do most of the primary edge highlighting now. I'm going to have to come back and redo some of it after we do the chipping because we'll knock some of the edges off and so on and so forth. But for the most part, I can at least get a good start to them now.
I'll just throw back my legs and pollute my britches with delight.
Impact miniatures.
Oh, what
Look at
that? we're painting one of your things with the things.
What's
going on? Thank you.
Late to the party. My wife demanded I take her out for a date suddenly.
Oh, what?
You should always listen.
Oh, yeah, probably good plan to not come here. Just saying. Unless she really likes painting, too, at which point in time you guys missed an opportune moment for some sexy date time whilst watching paint dry. Just saying. I'm not going to tell you what you do with your life, but...
Impact, I've gotten as far as skin. That's it. But I'm getting there. Starting on Wesley's pants.
Do 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 do. Probably just highlighted those on the complete wrong sides. Oh well.
Impact miniatures, what do you guys think of the new material versus the stuff the Whisper mech was made of?
I like this stuff a lot. I really do. I wasn't thinking of it from a comparative standpoint, but I'm really happy with it. The material that this is made out of is a really cool, I'm gonna say it's a resin, clear or translucent blue resin.
Yeah, I was showing them earlier.
It's very rigid. So to me, I really like that for cleaning. It seemed to clean real well. It didn't ball up. It didn't give me any issues with regards to, when I had to go and like scrape an edge or anything like that. So I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, they look really good.
It's painted really well. So no complaints from this end of the world. Painting a little bit of thickness. I want a little bit of brightness coming into these side of the knee here, and then just kind of extend it around the edge like that. A little bit of shine. Right now, what we did Impact is, and by the way, gang, Impact Miniatures makes these. Ta-da! And great miniatures. Give them a check out over on the web, impactminiatures.com. Great store. Tons and tons of chibi and non-chibi and all sorts of fun stuff. They've got a bunch of things going on right now. Got a Kickstarter thing or a thing going on right now that's like a bunch of miniatures that either went to Kickstarter and didn't make it or got lost in the sauce that are now back for, take two, doing some revival stuff. I'll let you explain it in chat. I'm probably doing a horrible job. But some really cool stuff that I went and looked, and a lot of people are really excited about some of the miniatures that they're bringing kind of back from the dead or for another go. So really cool. But the alien ones, like I'm doing, are over on the store. The stuff that Jen's doing will be available later in the year, and I think is still maybe up for grabs as a late pledge on a current Kickstarter or crowdfund thing that they've got going on. Again, I'll defer to Impact for all of the particular details, but needless to say, great miniatures all the way around. But what we did today is we started and painted this whole model with rust colors, and then after the rust colors, we went in with a chipping solution. So there's a chipping solution on here. And then we have now painted it with the yellows, and I'm going in and very quickly edge highlighting, set up for the chipping solution. And then we'll go through and do a lot of chipping on this deal. Bring a bunch of weathering into it. Should be good. Miniatures from 7 companies that have been discontinued lines either due to one-shot production, closed companies, or failed Kickstarters. That's awesome. I just love the concept, right? Cool stuff that's not available anymore that you got the rights to or went and talked with the people and bring them back from the dead, sort of give people a chance to get them again. Just a great deal in a legit way. I likes it. Apologize if I got to kind of dig in here and not pay as much attention to chat for a minute. I got to get all these highlights done so that we can do this chipping. We got to do the chipping tonight. We don't have the option to let it sit. That's the one thing that gets in the way with the chipping, is that you can't walk away from it. Once you start the process, you kind of need to work your way through it.
Get down with the clown.
Wow! Right, so I'm doing it in a, I'm highlighting in a way that gives us kind of a metallic reflectiveness to the model. Not going super overboard, but giving it enough to where it, gives it a little bit of punch. We're going to get rid of a lot of this, so you guys will laugh at me here in a minute when I start doing the chipping, and you're like, oh great, so all that work you just did was not even going to show up on the model anymore because you chipped it all away. Yeah, the story of our lives as miniature painters. The details we do sometimes don't stick, much as we might like them to. Just not the way it goes all the time. Looking good. Really like this German yellow color. The color that's easy to forget that I have. And it looks so good. Oh, I nailed a little bit on there. That's all right. Whatever. We'll chip that part. We get to cheat. Get a little paint where we don't want it, we'll just chip that right off. Assuming we got chipping solution there. Want as much over on this side, away from the lighting. Like I said, I'll have to come back and redo a lot of the edging. I just want to get enough done that for the bulk of where we go through and do our chipping, that I've got edge highlighting to have it fall against. Oh, see, look at my sweaty hands are already starting to chip. There's a chip that showed up right there. Water will activate this stuff, and so the sweat on my hand kind of already did it in a couple of spaces. Careful how I hold this thing.
Aw. Impact Mentor said, for my 20th anniversary, I turned my wife into a chibi. Money is going to go to animal rescues from selling it.
Oh, awesome.
Spent several hours getting the sculptor to do the necklace and bust correct, and then the final version covered 90% of it with 2 cats she was holding.
Oh, that's
so I
awesome.
hear you on the work we do that gets lost. So they added all that detail, and then they put the cats.
Huh.
That's awesome.
The way it goes.
Lucky Doo said, oh yeah, work disappears real quick too. I got to re-edge highlight a Space Marine tank due to the semi-transparent nature of acrylics, but it was more practice.
Yeah, I mean, right now
silver
what's going to
lining on
happen, and what I know going in, is that we will chip away a lot of the edging, because that's where you'll get a lot of that chip effect, is right along the edge of heavy machinery, right? Because all the corners that bang against things, that's where the bulk of the chipping will occur. But as the chipping happens, if you pre-highlight it, if you go through and do that edge highlight quick, then when you chip it, you still have little bits of that edge highlight that exist. So then when you go back, you can just focus on real bright points where you want shine, as opposed to trying to pull edge highlights, little bitty lines in between a million chips. Now, either way is functionally okay to do. It just depends on what you're trying to get out of it, you know, as to how far you push it, you know, things like that. Yeah, see, look, I've already got chipping down here on this claw from where my wet, sweaty hand touched it. But it's nice. I mean, it's not bad. It looks like perfect chipping. It just won't, I won't be able to edge highlight right there. See if we can't burn through some more of this real quick. been here for a while, you'll know that I don't do anything fast. And so when I do the chipping, it's like a total nervous situation because I'm like, oh my God, I got to get this done so I can do the chipping before the solution dries. My God, my God. And then it's like, hey, it doesn't really dry that quick. But I get all mantic about it. Oh my God, it's not gonna work. It'd also help if I actually clean this brush real quick. Get the paint goop out of it. What would really help is if I put this on a cork. And I wouldn't have to touch it with my grubby hands.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That ain't gonna happen.
No?
No.
Too much work?
Yeah.
Too much effort?
Yeah. Laziness is a thing. It's a bummer.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, a little bit of wet fingerprints on there just make really good chipping anyway. So we're going to say it's, yeah, I'm doing that on purpose.
Meant to do that. I think I fixed her face.
Nice.
So I put some of the blue on, but not all over, right?
Yep, only in the shadows.
Only in the shadows. But then I can do black all over.
Yep.
Okay.
That's the goal.
But super thin.
Yeah, super thin. Because, I mean, like the airbrush makes it really easy, so you might want to try to airbrush it.
But the skin.
Oh, yeah. Okay, never mind. Bad idea. Bad idea, Jay.
Okay.
Bad idea. Super thin. I mean,
super thin.
Super thin.
Okay.
Test it someplace first. You want, like, basically water with a little bit of black in it.
Okay. I hear ya. This black is already very thin.
Yeah, it's nowhere near thin as enough, though.
Okay.
You want it to barely discolor
Okay.
what's on there. Basically painted this thing twice today because we painted it a rust color first so that our chipping underneath will have a really cool effect color as it starts coming out when we start doing the chipping. It'll happen here shortly because I feel like I'm getting close, question mark, I don't know. Look, Reggie's coming along all right. It looks really good. I ain't mad. Even if this was just all we were doing, this is a pretty good look. Like I said, less highlight over on this side because our bulk of our lighting that we did was coming from the other direction, so barely going to grab any of these edges. Quick.
Well, huzzah, huzzah! I'll just throw back my legs and pollute my britches with
Who dat?
delight.
Particle vagrant.
What is going on? You so much. Welcome, welcome. Right. We'll come back to this side and kind of amp it up as we see how everything looks after the fact. I don't really overdo the quote-unquote shadow side of the loader. That's pretty good though. In here and I'm excited because we're ready to chip. Aren't we? Question mark? Maybe? I feel like it. Yes? You give me some affirmation? Alright, so we've painted a loader. Alright. Feel like I need a little bit of highlight. If you were here from the beginning, you saw how we painted it with all rust colors off the airbrush first. Alright? Those rust colors started with just dark rust, then into a little bit of a brighter rust color, and then eventually just spotting with some crazy rusty yellows and such. Right? And the reason for that is because underneath, when we do all this chipping, we want that rust color to kind of poke out. Right? We want to be able to see it so that we don't have to do that crazy, like you want to make scratches on a model, you got to paint them all these dark colors and then edge them and blah, 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 blah. We already have all that on here. It's just hiding right now, right? All of the rust, scratch, chip colors are on the model, just waiting to show their faces in the next step that I'm going to show you. So get ready as soon as I do these other 18 million things that I can never stop doing details on, right? That's the thing. Dealing with me is kind of like this. It's kind of the way it goes. Just ask Jen.
Yeah. True story.
True story. I always see something else that I'm like, oh, but we could do that, and oh, but what about that? All right, cool. I'm going to stop before I drive everybody, including myself, nuts. And we're going to get a couple of our little bitty swabs. I use these makeup applicators to do the bulk of my chipping. They are just called, what are they called? They're called disposable micro applicators. They're for makeup. Get them on Amazon. And then just the pink ones. I think they're called purple is the micro size. Purple and white are the small sizes, it says, but they're really pink. So, figure it out, I don't know. Right, but what they are is just this crazy little plastic applicator with a little bit of cotton swab on it. Now that swab won't last long, it'll come off. So, you'll probably go through quite a bit of these. All right, so what we have is a model. Right, it's pretty well cured. I mean, the stuff that we've just done is not a big deal. As far as like letting the paint dry for that edge highlighting is no big deal. Now I put a little water on this, and let's zoom in. Zoom in here, and let's
just put yours on.
Huh?
Why don't you just put yours?
Oh, okay.
On?
All right. So let's just go in and start doing some chipping. Let's do like this edge right here. Look at that rust color.
Move over to the left just a little bit.
And look at our rust paint that we put on there as it starts to show up.
Cool.
And I just pick at this however you want to. Scratchy marks right in the middle of the paint. You're actually taking paint off of the model, so it will have a dimension to it, right? Look at that.
Cool. Drac wants to know if you're going to make the seat look beat up and have the padding show.
I'm not going to have the padding come out because she covers up most of the seat. But yeah, you could do that. Sky's the limit with this stuff. It's just, remember scale, right? Remember that the smaller your model is, the more crazy stuff you do, the crappier it can all become. Right? So I'll just kind of take this thing, rub it. I'm not having to rub very hard right? It just depends on how big I want the scuffs to be, right? So if I want big scuffs, press harder, stay in the same spot. If I just want light, kind of streaky, then I just kind of rub it lightly over the surface, and I'll get that paint to thin out and get those scratches in it like that. And remember, all of this color that's showing through, all this brown, red, rusty color, is the color we painted the model first, right? We're not putting paint on, we're removing yellow paint so that we can see the paint that we put on underneath it. Go back and get the swab wet again. The water is what activates it, so the wetter the surface is, the bigger the chunks you're going to get are. Out here towards where the pinchers are, we probably want to get pretty aggressive. Maybe remove big old swaths of paint from here. Like that. How bitchin' that looks. I love chipping. Because this would just be frenetic to try to make it happen by painting it. Can you? Sure. Yeah. You could come through here and just use, brown paint, rust paint, whatever you need, and make all these colors happen and go through and kind of nick the model with a paintbrush. But this, by removing paint, makes it look so authentic. And notice how, if I zoom in real close, all right, let's just bring this up. This will focus. Notice how as I chip and the paint thins, you'll get that kind of orangey, yellowy kind of blending on the chip edges there. See how this chip here has got a little bit of that yellowy orange to it, that rust color showing through and blending as the paint thins out. So it makes it look like actual rusted metal. Too easy. And super cool. Right? And then you just go nuts. Just do this till your heart's content. Right? This is one of those effects, I'm not going to lie. This is one of those effects where the more you do it, the more you're like, oh, this is freaking rad, and you can overboard it, right? You can be like, oh, God, wait, what did I do? I should have stopped a month ago. Speckle it, kind of dust it in there. Like I said, I'm going really heavy around the pinchers. That would be where the paint gets taken off the most, I would think.
Well, huzzah, huzzah. I'll just throw back my legs and pollute my britches with
Thank you,
delight.
Lucky Deuce.
Lucky Deuce. Mucho apreciado. Okay. I think the last time we did chipping was also on a Chibi model. It was on the tank.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna need more of these swabs. The more you use them, like the cotton just kind of gets like super threadbare. Doesn't exist anymore. So like I said, you'll probably go through 4 or 5 of these on a model of this size, depending on how much chipping you're actually trying to do. Hold it by this smokestack thing that I don't care about. All right, let me just kind of. Again, just kind of understand like where on the model you want the most chipping, where you want just very light chipping. You can kind of vary it by pressure, right? Like I said, you don't have to have big openings. You know, I can basically come in here and just barely scuff it and get little pinpoint spots and then go heavy where I need it. Get the inside of the claw heavily like that. And just start grabbing little edges everywhere. This is one of those things that's so cool and fun, you forget how long it takes, because it does take a lot of time. Not gonna lie.
Oh, Lucky Juice, that sub was a gift from Impact Miniatures.
Oh, thank you.
Very nice.
Impact.
Well, huzzah, huzzah. I'll just
And
throw
another
back
gift.
my legs and pollute my
Salsa
britches with
Shark.
delight.
Salsa Shark, thank you. And
That was
Impact
from
with the
Impact.
gift. Hero.
Awesome.
What is going on? Thank you so
Very
much.
nice.
Let's get the toes. I would imagine the toes would be heavily chunked and pitted.
Doka said, we demand a leather seat cracked from years of sweat.
Okay, that's a thing. Could maybe make that happen. First, we're gonna weather these toes.
Well, I'll show the Terrorgeist when he's done. Oh, and can you move up just a little bit?
Oh, sorry.
Thanks.
Because we're taking material off, we get a really kind of cool fade and blend as we chip, meaning that, you know, we're going to get various thicknesses of the chips in depth wise. So you don't just get it like painting it on, right? It's like you're pre-blending. I don't know how to describe it. But you'll notice that we get various levels of amount of yellow showing through where we chip it off. And you're seeing the reason why I use the not heavy duty one. The worn effects rather than the heavy chipping, because with the worn effects I can come in here and I can do very, very thin scratch lines even at this scale, right? So notice how on that, see those little bitty scratches that I just did? The worn effects will let you do that at our scale. The heavy chipping fluid, if I did each one of those strokes, would take off a lot more paint. Okay, so that's the difference between the two materials. A lot of people always ask me, when do I use the heavy chipping versus the worn effects? And the worn effects is more for, at our scale, doing really good scale chipping. Okay. That claw is amazing.
Very cool.
We just want to keep going. I think with the chibi aspect of this, it's even funner to make it as beat up as possible, give it the most kind of crazy realism as we can, because it's a chibi, and that just is fun. Because at the end of the day, when you look at it, it's like it's a cartoon chick, an alien sitting in this thing. And if we go with this kind of hyper-realistic weathering, it's going to make the model look pretty fun. A cool dichotomy of cartoon characteristics on the models and the realism that we're going to get from the method of painting. We did the same kind of thing on the Rivet Wars tank that we did, which I thought was really fun. Again, the more water you use, the more material you move away, the easier it will be, the less pressure you'll have to apply. The drier you let your tool get, here we go, innuendos. With a dry tool, it'll be a lot harder to make it work. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Very true.
Like I said earlier, you don't have forever to do this. I gotta do whatever I'm gonna chip. I gotta make it happen tonight. I can't spend a lot of time dicking around and then like set it aside and come back to it tomorrow. I could still probably get a little bit of chipping done if I went away from it, but I don't want to risk it. I'm gonna go ahead, even though her feet sit here. I'm gonna go ahead and scuff this as if that's where feet go, because I don't know exactly how much of her feet
I see.
allow this to show. That's where her feet sit. Is she sits in there like that. Oh, so some of that will show because she's got tiny little feet. So some of that chipping around her feet will show pretty well. It's gonna be so funny with her little cartoon Ripley.
I love her hair.
It's great.
Doka said, because I like to torture myself, I think I'll work on another cloak. I'm thinking I'll airbrush the bone white this time. I just hate brushing that color. Okay, there's not a question, I don't think. Zuluzaji, not sure if you know the answer, but any clue why my compressor without a tank will turn off, bleed all the air out, then turn back on, fill the hose with air, and shut off again and repeat? Makes it practically useless.
Okay, read that again. What is it?
Okay. The compressor without a tank will turn off,
Right.
bleed all the air out, then turn back on, fill the hose with air, and shut off again. And it sounds like it just repeats that over and over.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're built to run to a pressure, right? They have a regulator regardless if they have a tank or not, because if they're just sitting, they don't run all the time. So it's filling the hose. The hose is the tank on a tankless compressor, first of all. So it does have a tank. It's just silly hose. But when the hose feeds back the pressure that you have it set at, say you've got it set at 45 psi, 30 psi, whatever, as soon as the hose fills, it stops running because it has 30 psi. But if your bleed nozzle or something is open, the nozzle that you open well, you don't have a tank, so you shouldn't have that nozzle, but maybe the regulator has a release nozzle on it. If that release nozzle is stuck in the open position, it'll still fill faster than the release nozzle can get rid of it. It'll fill to pressure stop. The release nozzle will take it down below its threshold pressure, and it'll kick back in again. So you got a leak someplace, either in the hose or there's a release valve on the regulator that's allowing air pressure to escape. You say it's escaping, so you're hearing it escape. Find out where it's escaping and fix that leak, and then it should stop doing that.
And Lucky Deuce said, are you going to pull out some fancy painting skills to get the alien queen salivating all crazy like in the movies?
Yeah, we can do that. We can do some clear salivation stuff. We've got some neat materials that can do that. Or better yet, do it some sort of crazy, slimy, greeny stuff, maybe. I don't know.
There's no muscle stronger
Sigus Malus
than the
probably
human
missed it, but are we using a
What
chipping
about the
fluid method
wiener?
on this?
A guy
Yes.
I'm
on
going to tell
TV
the product
lifted a
again.
can of
'Cause I can't
paint
remember.
with his.
Yes.
Heavy chipping? No, not heavy chipping.
Yeah, we're using the AK Warn Effects
AK
for
Warn
this.
Effects.
Right?
Thank you, Greggy.
The AK Warn Effects do great at our scale. The heavy chipping fluid does great too, but it will give you lots of chipping. It'll move a lot of material. The Warn Effects at small 28 millimeter scale will give you good, as you can see. I'm not having to apply a lot of pressure, but I'm getting really good removal. And this has been on here for 2 hours probably.
Yeah, there you go.
Something like that. When did we start this? 7:30. We started at 5. We probably had the rust done by 5:45. So yeah, the chipping fluid's been sitting, curing for about 2 hours. So you can see how much kind of movement you still get. You get a lot. So while you have to move quick doesn't mean like you got 30 minutes before it's done. I need another applicator. It's time to buy more applicators, I think.
So, really, I'm not painting this all black. It's just this.
Have you put some black on there?
Yeah. Super, 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 super thin, like you told me.
Well, let's see. I don't see much of your blue on here. Do you feel like you got enough on there?
I mean, I did it the way you told me to do it, so maybe
I think
not.
you weren't thick enough. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, the stuff that you're doing now looks good. Mm-hmm. You probably can go another layer, right,
Okay.
of the thin black.
Okay.
The idea is to just layer it up until you get it to where this light area that's showing on his head still gives it some highlight. But right now it just looks gray with dark shadows.
Right.
So yeah, do a little bit more black on it so that it starts looking more black. But you don't want to do so much that you hide all these highlights.
Okay.
Make sense?
I think
you want them to just dull down so that then you go back and follow along with like a light gray to pick the ones out that you need to. Okay. But yeah, you're doing great.
Critifer said, when I did chipping on Lemon Rust tanks, I used the sprayer on my kitchen sink to remove the paint, and it gave me perfect random chipping effect.
Okay. Yeah, I don't trust stuff like that. I take my time like this, but yeah, definitely. I mean, there's no reason why you couldn't. On a big surface like that, probably a good idea. Obviously, it worked for you, so good technique. Not something I would have thought of. No, this clean side. Down towards the sole of the foot where the paint would get scuffed more. Always trying to think of, okay, where would the most, you know, beat up part be, and then kind of work out from there, start spotting other things. You don't have to get every edge. Like I said, it's very easy to get carried away with chipping because it does look so good and it is fun. So and like here on the claws, I feel like this would be the heaviest used area. Picking up big metal boxes, beating up alien queens. Use spotting kind of strokes. I'm using long scratch strokes. Just vary it up a lot. The randomness is what's going to sell it. And remember, we maybe not, or maybe don't have the same amount of chipping solution everywhere because we applied it with the airbrush and we were kind of random with it. So, like I said, there's going to be some areas where you're probably not going to find a lot of ability to get paint off of here because we just didn't put much, if any, chipping solution there. And that's fine. That'll, again, just increase the randomness. I'm going through and scratching some areas. I'm not seeing much paint move. I just go along to the next spot. Don't even worry about it. Taking the tool and whipping it across the hard plastic so it lays across both of those edges, and so that way I get scratches that go completely from one side to the other like that. Kind of again, making sure that I'm just using random strokes. I say brush strokes, not really a brush, but you get my drift. Oh, there's a big old chunk came out there. Nice. Try to clear away any of the excess paint that might buckle up, only because it'll dry and, you know, be like a big chunk of plastic. The nice thing about this, like I said before, is that you do get the feel of the paint lifting because you're removing it, but you do want to make sure that you don't have big chunks of rubbery paint left. Like I said, if you do it like that, when the brush gets dry, I don't remove as much material all at once. So, you know, if I am really having to smack at it, I can get lighter like scratching going on that then gets heavy at the edge. So get a lighter amount of paint going away and then that heavy chip at the edge, which can be kind of cool. I mean, that's kind of the way things wear in the real world. Need another one. Applicator number 4. That one's just hard plastic now. All the cotton part went away. You can use like cotton swabs. They work too. As a matter of fact, let's grab like a Q-tip and I'll show you the difference. If you get a Q-tip wet, you've obviously got a lot more surface area with a Q-tip, so you can kind of jab at it. You're going to get much more material generally coming off, but you can go a little bit quicker this way. You just got to be kind of careful, because if you do it in the middle of like flat areas, see how I'm getting big chunks taken out? So this is not as good for doing fine scratches, but this can be like, if we do this and are careful, we can grab the edges. Does a good job of just kind of taking away the edging there. But remember, it will take a lot of material off, so you got to be careful. You don't want to have big, huge chunks of paint go away. Take this, use it to kind of set up all of your edges. It took like almost all of the paint off of that corner right there, so I got to be careful. Doesn't look bad, but if I do that too many times, it'll start to look kind of shitty. That kind of gets us there a little quicker. Then we can take this and fine tune all the smaller scratches and stuff that we may want to do. All right, so I can kind of come through here and build off of these big areas that I opened up. I can't do like small scratches like that with the Q-tip. I can't do like little spots like this if I just kind of go and poke, make little dots up here. And you cross a line, you got to pay attention, right? Because not every surface has to be beat to crap when you're weathering stuff. But if you start off with every surface getting a little chipping, you got to be careful to make sure that you don't leave anything too clean, right? You cross a point where it's like, oh, but if I don't put any chipping on a particular area, then it's going to look really weird. So just make sure that you're paying attention to when you cross that line, right? If every area that you can see on a particular model has got at least a little bit of chipping, leaving certain areas not chipped can make it look kind of funky. Sorry, I'm all over the place with this. Q-tip fuzz. And again, exclamation point store in chat will take you over to slowfusegaming.com. We have an online hobby store, which is how we support being able to do all these cool tutorial and fun streams. Give us a chance to be your hobby store. We don't sell miniatures, but we sell all the cool things to make your miniatures look better, including our own line of paints coming up. We sell our paintbrushes, Jen's brush soap that she makes by hand, all sorts of really, really cool stuff that you will see us using here. This AK chipping solution is on our site. Super fast shipping. You know the drill. Anybody that's been here a while will tell you. If you're new, you can trust us. That's the used car salesman pitch right there. Trust us to supply you with all of your amazing hobby needs. Come on down Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. We'll sell you the whole seat. You only need the edge. See, I crossed that line a while back where if I have any panels that don't have just a little bit of chipping on them, I feel like I'm doing the model a disservice. It'll look funky and it'll throw me off later on when I'm looking at it. So I want to make sure that from just about every angle I get at least a little bit, even if it's just the faintest amount of chipping on a surface. I want to get some everywhere. I feel like, other than right up here along the top, we had a pretty good beaten up looking loader, to be honest with you. A little more back here. Our Chibi loader is just about ready. We got to paint the chair. We'll go back in and highlight some of the edges and stuff, but you can see a lot of our edge highlighting survived the chipping, but I wouldn't want to have to go back in and recreate all of that edge highlighting around the chipping. Does that make sense? Because in a lot of these spots, right, the corners, as a matter of fact, we can stand a chip a little bit more like on this surface here. And I wouldn't want to have to go in and highlight around all of these spots. Trying not to open up a brand new applicator since I'm not really needing it. But the chipping solution is starting to set up. It's being harder and harder to remove paint. I'm having to apply a lot more pressure as I go in order to get the same small chipping to occur along the edges. So I'm just about out of time to make this stuff work, and that's perfect because I feel like we're really, really good right now. Don't think we need a whole lot more. Anything we want to do to accentuate it, we can paint it in with a brush, extra surface scratches and things. I think is really good right now.
Ooh, it's 7:56.
Yep.
Jeez.
Oops. Oops. And always good to move it around.
Lucky you said now you've got to go back and highlight all the chipping. It's an all-night pre-marathon stream.
I will highlight some of the chipping. Like I said, we'll go back. But now all we have to do is focus on areas where we really want to get some action happening. The nice thing is because we pulled material off, some of this kind of self-highlights. It at least directs traffic to you because there's material that's moved, right? And so we know where it will highlight. The rust color we don't have to do anything with because we painted that and actually spent time highlighting the rusts. So we get various colors. Some are red, we get a little bit more reddish brown and dark brown in the same areas because we went in and made a very spotty, rusty background for this that we're chipping away to. So I feel like that's a pretty good looking thing. It's been well worn, which I really dig. I think that with the Chibi Ripley that goes inside here, that's going to be damn near perfect. Right, kind of a cool cartoony look.
Very cool. Sitting
inside this big beat up realistic metallic loader. Right. So again, just a real easy process. The chipping, like I said, trying to not get out of control, knowing where to put it so it looks, as realistic as you want it, so on and so forth, is just a learning process. We have the same chipping solution on this, which probably isn't going to do us much good because I'm not going to chip it tonight. I didn't go through and paint the cage, but the cage with just the rust on it doesn't look too shabby.
No,
so I may just use this. This is what the beginning of the whole thing looked like, right? We just kind of made this spotty, rusty looking metallic. The whole model was painted like this. The cage has the chipping solution on it as well, but because of not painting it, I didn't know if I really wanted it yellow or not. And I kind of, as I put it on here right now in the rusty color, I feel like that's actually really good. And we'll probably just go in with some grays and kind of make it look like it was steel at one point in time, and leave it as that contrast color and have it be a little bit more rusty, like it was iron, dark iron. And so now that it's all rusted, I think that looks really good. And then with her up inside of that, will look even better because we'll paint her flesh tones and her green pants and white shirt and blood and stuff on her will be pretty cool. So I think the color combos are going to work really well. And then, of course, the alien we did while we were waiting for our stuff to dry. And we got this cool kind of bluish black going on, right? We've got our dusty blue in the shadows. And then we nailed it down, got our whites and everything lessened out, with just the brightest points showing and popping into kind of a white reflection for the black armor. This can't get any simpler, right? This was literally just black primer, white pre-highlight, spraying with the airbrush blue black from up underneath and making sure we get all the crevices and shadows with it, and then spraying the same light black that Jen's doing on her deal. On Wesley to get the same effect. She's doing it with a brush. I'm doing it with the airbrush, but it can give you really cool effects. Yours is selling black fabric, right? I'm going for like shiny black skin, so I've got to probably put another layer of the thin black over the top so I dull my whites down a little bit more, but I'm getting really close to the point to where I can then just start edge highlighting this guy with a bright gray and a little bit of dots of white on it to give the shine of the chitin shell, and then he'll be ready to go. She'll be ready to go. It's the alien queen, right? Not a whole lot to do here. Maybe some drool like somebody was saying. But that's the easiest part of the whole thing. And then Ripley is the hardest. But we're going to have our queen and loader face off, which should be pretty bitchin'.
Cool.
How do you feel about the black now? Let me see. Do you like it better now?
I think
Darkened
so.
it up some?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That darkened up a lot. Yeah. Perfect. Yep. Very good. And then you'll just go back with like the black gray, and like you did the claws on the Terrorgeist.
Yep.
You'll do that to maybe highlight a little bit of the knee, maybe highlight a little bit of like the cummerbund thing he's got. But everything he wears is black, so it's not gonna be a whole lot.
Yeah.
Skin looks really good. Yeah. Perfect. You're getting good at this painting stuff. Not gonna lie.
I'm a good teacher. And then I just did her skin. That's all.
Very nice.
But I fixed that spot.
Yeah. Cool. Very cool.
Good. And then Soka, I think, asked about the Terrorgeist. Zoomed.
Yeah, the Terrorgeist looks awesome.
There you go. So there it is. Mostly done.
Yeah, just gotta base it.
Just finishing the the rock things I didn't finish. I think
Yeah, the
I needed a
rocks,
lighter,
and then
one
once you get
more
the base
lighter.
done, going back and looking at highlights that you might want to poke out on stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for the most part, you're gonna really dig it.
There he is.
Looking good,
Pretty excited.
I think I'm really excited to see you get that one done and based and just be your first like truly complete
Yeah.
big miniature. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, I think it's freaking incredible. Incredible job. Should be proud. Very good looking.
I like it.
Not only was that really your, I mean that's your real. Well, I don't know the Chibi gunslinger pony. You spent a lot of time airbrushing too, so that's
I
really your
airbrushed,
second
yes.
you run because you did
Yeah.
a lot of highlighting of the white skin with the airbrush on
Yep.
the pony too. So, but this is your first big airbrush glaze kind of deal with the Terror guys. So
Yep.
awesome stuff. Great
More of
fun.
those
Good
next
Friday.
week.
I had a lot of fun. This was fun. It was nice. It was good. She still owes me for what oh man. Me and my big ass mouth.
One.
Uno.
Two.
Those. Trace.
Three.
I can hear the ocean. Wow. God, that's
was a good
loaded.
one.
Holy crime and nittly.
The last one was not bad.
I could hear the ocean, the waves. I wanted to be there. I was on a beach for a second. Oh. And then it was just sirens, and I got dashed against the rocks. Blah!
Thanks, Lucky Deuce.
Blah! We miss anybody?
Oh yeah, the Zuluzaji, the back to the compressor thing. The part that confuses me is that if I set the regulator to 20 psi, start spraying all the air bleed out to 5 psi, and the compressor won't kick on. Once I finish spraying it out completely, only then does it kick back on.
Like I said, it sounds like you have a leak somewhere between the brush and the compressor, and that will cause the exact thing that is happening to you. And on a lot of the regulators, the regulator being where it shows you the PSI that the compressor is set at, there's a little ring tab that you can pull that allows all of the air to come out. The compressors sometimes have it on the regulator regardless if you have a tank. It's generally associated with having a tank, but it doesn't have to be. And that pin can get stuck, or you could have a hole in the line. There could be all sorts of things, but it sounds like you have a sizable leak somewhere between the compressor and your gun, and you need to find that. So it could be a fitting that's bad, a clamp went bad, a hole in the line. You know, check those things first and see. Gren, sorry we didn't say bye in time. That was like 20 minutes ago.
No.
Just toss the model downstairs. It's all natural. You want chipping? Throw it outside. Cover it in rocks. Have fun. It's great. Fun times galore. Yeah, I really like her choice on the purple of the muscle tissue under the faded blue skin on the Terrorgeist. And then the purple glazing that she did on the wings. Yeah, I really dig it. She's done a great job. Done a great job. Now she just has to finish the rest of the vampire counts, guys, the flesh eater court, so that she can play Age of Sigmar.
No.
And I can watch her head explode as she goes up against some nerd with 4 bloodthirsters. I don't wish that upon you. I just think that if I were to have a dream that was really funny, that might be a section of that dream. I'm just saying. Yeah, see if you can narrow down the leak, Zuluzaji. Like, take the hose off the compressor and run the compressor and see what it does. Right, with the hose off. Because it should fill, well, it doesn't have a tank, but it should still run. Right, see what happens. But we're out of here, gang. It is Friday. We've got a marathon to run tomorrow. I've got my headband I've already put into action. I'm still on the edge as if it really blocks the sweat. But I think my watery eyes was just watery eyes. So we'll see. But we got to run a marathon tomorrow.
If you follow us on social media, be sure to check in tomorrow.
Follow us.
If
If you're not follow us on social media, tomorrow's worth it because we're running a marathon. There will be pictures. I have my bright orange shorts.
Fantastic, just like we are here.
My bright orange shorts, my yellow freaking fanny pack with the watermelons on it, my compression socks that go up to my bunghole. It's going to be good times. So
We're ready.
We'll be having a lot of fun. We'll see you guys back here on Tuesday at 2 p.m. Have a great weekend. Don't do anything we wouldn't do. We love your faces. Thanks for hanging with us, gang. Adios.